balloons.
On it. Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Ah. Use as directed.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
No complaints about our Monday afternoon weather with sunshine in control. About 83 will do it for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Upper 70s as we get into the evening. 56 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny skies. Nice start to the morning on Tuesday, but warmer Tuesday afternoon, 88. Wednesday still on tap to be the hottest day of the week, sunny and 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned how this coming election can affect the stock market and your retirement? Would you like to have a personalized structured income plan that shows you the monthly income you can receive and how to never outlive it?
Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any more losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss the last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as-is condition with no middleman involved. I recently bought a house from somebody that was embarrassed to let me in the door. There was stuff all over the place and the entire house smelled like smoke. However, we were definitely able to see the potential. We gave them a great cash offer that they were very happy with. So if you have a house that isn't in the best shape, maybe in disrepair, we're interested in making you an as-is cash offer. Please reach out today, KLAMEN Group.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
President Trump doesn't need my advice on this because he is very much focused on the issues and how he will fix what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have broken over these last 3.5 years. Donald Trump isn't running for president for himself. He is running for president because he sees the risks and the dangers that we face as a country right now, specifically because of the Harris-Biden administration. And he wants to serve our country and serve the American people and actually fix what they have broken.
Tulsi Gabbard commenting on Donald Trump and campaign suggestions, maybe a little debate suggestions, since Tulsi Gabbard famously debated, I guess then Senator Kamala Harris in the 1-2 punch that may have been one of the main reasons why Kamala Harris just dropped out before any vote was cast in that Democrat primary election prior to, let's say, that would have been 2020. So Kamala Harris, no support from the Democrat Party. She didn't stick around to see if they'd support her. The polling wasn't good. She dropped out. Tulsi Gabbard drops out eventually as well because the Democrat Party took her out. I think
he did a fantastic job in his debate against Joe Biden. Clearly, the results speak for themselves, and he will do the same in this debate with Kamala Harris. You know, Vice President Harris should not be underestimated. Clearly, as some of the media reports have shown, they have been studying my debate with her in 2019 and setting aside almost a week of solid debate prep with the lights and the stage and the stand-ins and everything. Donald Trump hasn't been doing that because he doesn't need to do it. He's been out speaking to the American people. She's taking this debate seriously. She will come prepared with memorized lines, ready to recite and deliver them in what I think will be a very effective way. However, she cannot run away from her record. President Trump looks forward to making sure the American people remember what she has done over these last 3.5 years and how she had the opportunity to fix what's broken, but she's the one responsible for breaking it.
There's a lot that Kamala Harris has gone back and forth on. There's a lot of things that she has essentially said she's changed her position on, but she is very, very committed to the idea that she hasn't changed her values. Now, if you go policy by policy, you'll find out she agrees with Donald Trump on quite a few things all of a sudden. The border wall, no tax on tips, both things that are pinnacle and paramount to Donald Trump's policy for running for re-election. So we know Kamala Harris agrees with Donald Trump on quite a few things, but we realize is that she doesn't really agree with Kamala Harris on very many things, which is going to be harder for her to reconcile. Here's Bernie Sanders explaining what we're seeing.
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election. My own view is slightly different. I think that in America today, there are a lot of people, rural people, working class people, who no longer believe that the United States Congress and government represents their interests, too dominated by big money interests.
So Bernie Sanders, they're saying what we all know to be true in political campaigns, which is people do and say things that they need to do and say in order to try to get elected. But generally speaking, what they have to do and say isn't just completely and totally the opposite in the face of what that said candidate has done and said before. And when you think about Kamala Harris's time as a senator, when you think about her time as attorney general or as a prosecutor, and especially in her time that is the current state of the United States of America, as her time as vice president, she's got a pretty established record of being incredibly progressive. The first time that she comes out and wants to be, a little bit more moderate, a little bit more sensible on those things that are really bothering you, like border security, like immigration, and the wide open borders that we have right now under the Harris policies that are in place. She's the one who was put in charge of the border. Call it what you want. Don't call it what you want. She was put in charge of it. We have Joe Biden blessing her with the responsibility because Joe Biden said she's the most qualified for the job. Which, is a side note, really says something about the people in the Biden administration, doesn't it? Kamala Harris, the most qualified person for the job. She goes down to those triangle countries and she says, don't come. But this is after Joe Biden was on a campaign stage saying, come on over. We're ready for you. And then they come and then they praise Joe Biden for being able to come into the United States and pursue the American dream that has now been morphed into this idea of Democrat control, open the doors, we hand you the money, we hand you the American dream. And you and I both know the American dream was never about it being handed to you. It was about having the opportunity to earn it yourself and to not have limits as to how big you can dream here. The opportunity is in front of you, but it's your responsibility to go get it. Not with this Democrat Party, not with the Biden-Harris administration. They want people to come. They don't stop people from coming here. And when they figure out a way to work in some sort of border security bill, what they end up doing is pushing for a streamlining of the process to get people in. They're not saying close down the open, porous parts of our southern border. They're saying we need more judges. We need more paper-pushing Border Patrol agents, which is not what they're there for. We need more border security to make sure that people are coming in and being streamlined through the open, gaping holes in our border so that they can come be here. Why would they possibly be doing that? Well, there's one reason that most political pundits, most people connected to national security, most people on the inside of political campaigns have been saying regularly. And sometimes I'm like, I want a little more hard proof so that I can convince somebody who is a complete and total doubter that this is what they're actually trying to do. Fox News reports today that, if you haven't heard this yet, KamalaHarris.com now has a framework of policies, which is on the eve of the debate, one day earlier than I anticipated they would get those policies up, but they are up. And according to Fox News, Vice President Kamala Harris is doubling down on her support for an earned pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants in a new campaign policy page, even as she presents a more muscular approach to border security overall. Quote, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz believe in tough, smart solutions to secure the border, keep communities safe, and reform our broken immigration system. The lengthy issues page of her campaign website says. The page itself comes as Harris faces pressure over her policy positions, both in relation to whether she stands by some of her more radical policy positions from her 2020 presidential primary bid, and to what extent she differs from the President Biden administration. I said at the beginning of this that we have found that Kamala Harris is politically, going back to what Bernie Sanders said there, she's got to say what she's got to say to get elected. Everybody knows how this game is played. You're not too stupid to understand that. And Bernie Sanders is bold enough to say it out loud. We've found Kamala Harris agreeing sometimes with Donald Trump. She agrees sometimes with Kamala Harris of the past. But you know who she agrees an awful lot with? Joe Biden. If you look through her policies on her website, do you know whose policies these are? It's the second phase of Joe Biden. And to me, that means if she spent 50 days not answering questions of the American people, of you, of the free press, if she has avoided the opportunity to articulate policies the entire time she's been trying to advocate to the American people that you should choose her to represent you at the highest office in the land. She has not come out and spelled out her policies, but now that they are worded out at KamalaHarris.com, and they are an extension of Joe Biden's policies, I would challenge Joe Biden to answer questions on these very policies. I don't think he can do it, which is further proof that Joe Biden is not running Joe Biden's administration, and Kamala Harris is picking up where Joe Biden left off, and we are looking at potentially 4 to 8 more years of the direction that Joe Biden is putting us in if these policies on the KamalaHarris.com website are to be implemented. It will be not just more of the same, but an exponential growth in the direction of the same. Kamala Harris agrees the most with Joe Biden because Joe Biden is the most current test of what the Democrat Party is. You can't compare Kamala Harris to 2020. That was ages ago. That was back when you could say anything and literally just be not Donald Trump, and people would be like, whatever. The policy I'm interested in is Orange Man bad. You are not Orange Man, therefore you good. That's as simple as it needed to be in 2020. Except for now, those radical leftist progressive policies that the Biden administration did usher back in to Washington, D.C., and were able to, if you listen to him brag about his legislative successes, these are things that Congress was able to get done with a couple years of a Democratic Congress pushed through, and here we are. How's your grocery bill? How's the gas tank treating you? How is everything that you have to go buy when you have an appliance break down in your house and you have to get it fixed? Parts are more expensive. Labor is more expensive. You got to replace it. Lord have mercy. The prices of everything are going sky high through the roof. You might hear him brag about a little bit of a raise that you might have enjoyed, but if your raise isn't outpacing the cost of everything, it feels like a pay cut. And the Biden-Harris pay cut is hurting every single American living in this country right now. And it's only going to get worse if Kamala Harris's policies, which she has now at KamalaHarris.com, are to be enacted. It won't take much to enact them because it's more of the same of where we are right now. When Kamala Harris says we're not going back, the threat of we're not going back means we can't give this country back to the people. We have to keep it where it is right now. We'll never make the progressive mountainous successes that we need to make if the American people are in charge of this government once again. We'll never be able to push the successes that we see in the Green New Deals and in the far left progressive overlording, over-regulatory, big government mindset of the Biden-Harris administration. We'll never be able to retool everything the way we want to if we haven't sufficiently scared American voters into thinking, gosh, I know that this is hard. This is difficult on my checkbook. This is difficult on my savings account. This really sucks for my credit card bill, but I trust them. They know what's best. They aren't Trump. It's hard, but the hard part is my contribution. There's a word for that kind of government. It's not a democratic republic. It's not what we live in the United States of America. It doesn't work in an American style of life. You can't have an American dream if it's predetermined by somebody who sits in a government elected office. If it's limited by somebody who sits in a government elected office. You can't have that. Every time Kamala Harris says we're not going back, it's because the Democrat Party, the far left progressive stranglehold on the Democrat Party. And I know all of you listening right now who are Democrats right now, there are most of you, if not all of you, are disgusted with certain parts of your Democrat Party. Doesn't mean you're not going to vote for them, but there are parts of that. Internally, you got to fight on your hands. If you want a free country, if you want a we the people scenario, you cannot vote for more of Joe Biden's policies. Kamala Harris will take it way beyond the next level. And her policies articulate that. It's the next step in the Biden plan. And she's not going to back down from that because there are too many people invested in the running of this show, counting on her to pull this off, where the whole house of cards comes tumbling down. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will face off tomorrow in a debate, and we are going to carry it. Are we carrying that live here?
Yeah, we'll be carrying it on 97.1.
Perfect. You can tune in there. And then, of course, we have a sold-out debate watch party again. Guys, you just get those tickets so fast. But I'm really excited. We're going to be out at Dave & Buster's once again. I anticipate we'll be live streaming on the Annie Fry YouTube page, so make sure you subscribe and you can hang out and chat with us. You can't really watch the debate there, but we'd rather you just pop it up on 97.1 and listen to it, stream it on the Odyssey app, watch it on your TV, and we're just going to hang out and have our little group chat together. I got to come up with a Kamala bingo. I have to do that. I have to make that happen. That's my goal for tomorrow. The YouTube live chat poll, how do you want your candidate to handle the debate? Do you want them to be aggressive in attack mode, or would you like them to be mindfully demure? We need to know what you think about that. I want to read a couple of these comments that have been set aside here so far. Gary said, I voted mindful and demure. Trump should help undecideds be mindful and how unqualified Harris is to be the president, and be demure. Unless she hits below the belt, then let her have it. What do you think? Let us know on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Let us know with your comments and your vote. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You know what I'm saying.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Michael's Flooring Outlet's online at igotfloored.com. And if you visit the website, you'll be able to see how to get an easy free estimate scheduled right there at the top of the website. You'll also be able to look through the different products that they have at Michael's Flooring Outlet. The Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line of carpeting is beautiful. It's brilliant. And it might be just what you're looking for. If you want silky softness, if you want superior performance, ask them about that Mohawk brand. If you're looking for commercial concerns, if you have maybe a hardwood that you want to put in or a luxury vinyl plank that you want to put in and get rid of that business carpet, they can help you with that as well. They do residential and they do commercial. They're located in 3 places across St. Louis. Like I said, you can visit them right now online at igotfloored.com for the specific details. But if you're looking to go in store, check them out in St. Charles County, in West County. You can also visit them in Darting Prairie. Support Michael's Flooring Outlet, who has supported the Annie Fry Show and 97.1 FM Talk for so long. We appreciate the great service and commitment to quality and value, and you will too. igotfloored.com.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You know Diamonds Direct for their exquisite diamonds and fine jewelry. What about luxury watches? With a handpicked collection by the industry's top timepiece experts, skip the waiting list and get the timepiece you've been eyeing right away. And this month only, enjoy 0% interest for 5 years on all the top brands. Imagine owning a $15,000 luxury watch for just $250 a month. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, where you can shop direct for diamonds and watches.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Cox Morning Show is live in Eureka this Wednesday in support of the Focus Marines Foundation. Go to 971talk.com/events to find out more. We're looking forward to seeing you at Chicken Ellie's in Eureka this Wednesday, live with the Mark Cox Morning Show.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I'm voting based on substance. I'm looking at the fact we can't live the next 4 years like we did the last 4 years. This is no contest. Harris raised taxes. Trump reduced taxes. Harris wants to stop any energy production. Trump built it up. Harris is weak on national security. Trump was strong on national security. Harris has allowed the border to be infiltrated by 8 million people. Trump was much harder on the border. This is about my family. This is about America. These are about issues. We should be very clear. If you don't like him, say you don't like him. But you can't say that his policies are worse than Kamala Harris's. That's just not a fact.
You know, it's all of these people on the right who are coming out right now and endorsing Kamala Harris, like the Dick Cheneys of the world and the Liz Cheneys of the world. Oh, those two names come together. Why do you think Dick Cheney, former vice president, Republican vice president, would come out and endorse Kamala Harris? Maybe it's because he loves it's his daughter, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Liz Cheney. Daughter. Maybe he loves his daughter more than he loves his party. Because certainly voting, well, I don't know, maybe there's that whole war thing. So anyway, you got Adam Kinzinger coming out and supporting Kamala Harris, and people continue to be like, another Republican, a strong, bold Republican. Mitt Romney has said he's not going to vote for Donald Trump. He's not going to vote. He didn't say he's going to vote for Kamala Harris, but all of these people who, the sun's going down on the careers of all of these people. None of them are in the peak. There is not anything these people could say about a policy that is out there, about politics that is out there that isn't about Donald Trump that people would pay attention to. Nobody is looking to Dick Cheney to find out, what should we do with the Middle East? Let's ask Dick Cheney. Nobody is saying that anywhere at all. Nobody is wanting to know what Liz Cheney thinks about healthcare funding or education or anything like that. She has made, this is a her thing. This is a them thing. They have made their entire identity in politics adjacent to Donald Trump. It's the only thing that matters to them. And so when they come out and they say something negative to Donald Trump, there's a whole group of people in the news media out there that are just going to lap that up because it serves their purpose. And since they know that saying these types of things serves the purpose of people who will continue to platform them, they continue to say it. Of course they would. That's how they stay relevant. There's nothing like a Democrat being like, these honorable and respectable Republicans like Adam. What? Like, I'm sorry, you don't get to say that. You are not inside the party. If you want me to talk about honorable and respectable Democrats like Joe Manchin, you're probably not going to accept that for what I'm saying either. So while I say it, I don't expect it to carry any weight. I don't expect it to influence anybody. I don't know how many Republicans that are out there that are anti-war, more populist type of Republicans, want lesser taxes on the middle class, want to be able to live their lives. I mean, everything that you can say about a Republican Party right now it feels like what the Democrat Party used to nobly stand by at the beginning of my lifetime in the 80s, maybe a little bit before. There's a massive switch that is taking place. And in that massive switch, the party that is the actual advocate for the little guy, the party that is the actual advocate for the individual American and not some sort of big idealistic, this is how you should live your life. And these are the things that are the most important. And it's okay if you don't agree with us that they're the most important. You just got to support us so that we can get done what we need to get done for the greater good. And leading up probably within the last 15 years ago, I think when Barack Obama took the scene, and it was after a war-torn September 11th hangover where we're 2 days away from acknowledging that year once again, when we were so tired of the death and the destruction and the what felt like the lack of answers, the lack of conclusion, Barack Obama comes on and he promises hope and change. Yay. Okay, but what do we hope we change? What are we trying to move away from and move into? And then we hear words about equity. We hear words that, in Kamala Harris's own words, talks about the importance of equal outcome. And Kamala Harris feels as though her role in government is to help achieve equal outcome. That's the most anti-American thing in the world. Equal opportunity? Let's go. Lock arms. Let's make sure everybody has equal opportunity. But from there, what happens next, that's on you. It's not predetermined by some government official. There is a movement in our country right now that is strangely Republican, and it's kind of the features of the old Democrat Party that I remember growing up and hearing, like, the goodness of the Democrat Party was about caring about the little guy, about showing up for the little guy, about representing the little guy. The Democrat Party says they still do that, but they don't advocate for them. They use them. They talk about them to use them, but they don't benefit anything for them because, look, we're talking about an election where democracy is at stake. It couldn't be any more dire than it is right now, and the Democrats are in charge. How do you reconcile those two things? There is a lot that needs to be restored in this country, and freedom is at the epicenter of it. The individual Americans' freedom. Here's Donald Trump.
Second, I will bring back free speech in America because it's been taken away. They've taken away your free speech, and the fake news is a threat to this country. They are just horrible. These are horrible people. Not everyone. I mean, I know most of them up there. Some are good. Hello, Brian. No, some are good, and most of them are just absolutely terrible human beings. They know what's going on.
The idea of free speech coming back into play, that's how we keep everything in check. And the First Amendment, yes, it's about free speech. Most people think of the First Amendment. It's my way of being able to say what I want to say without government coming and telling me that I can't. That doesn't mean your employer or whatever, some association you're with can say, we don't agree with that. They can handle that if it doesn't connect and flow with what your employer says. You can't just go out and say terrible things without any repercussion at all. But you can't have the government coming in and putting their hand over your mouth and silencing you. That's a big part of the First Amendment, yes, but another huge part of the First Amendment, maybe the most important part of the First Amendment, is the idea of a free press, one that advocates for the American people. And in order to protect that First Amendment right for everybody, you need a free press that is interested in pressuring all forms of authority, all elected officials, all people who are put into a position to represent you, to advocate for you, because truth is what you deserve so that you can make your decisions. Not so that you have to look at government like it's some sort of parental figure that's going to show up and you don't need to know everything. I don't tell my kids everything. If there's something going on and it's not great, I might tell the older ones a little bit about what's going on, but they don't need all the details because their parents will handle the situation or manage the situation in whatever way is necessary. We are not the children of the American government. We are the ones who deserve the truth. We are the ones who need to know what is real. And we don't need parents in government or babysitters in the media who are trying to soften the blow so that we can end up not knowing what's really going on, but just trusting those people who are in charge of us to handle the situation.
I'm scared. I'm pretty sure you know. Oh, it's going to be good. We're going to be good. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We are all in this together. Yes, we are. We're going to be fine. We are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Huh? Yes. Did you get some spices?
Okay, Spice Lady Kamala Harris. She goes to a spice store to start talking about how we need to start being more unified. It's the same thing that Joe Biden said to try to get elected. They painted the picture that Donald Trump is this hateful, evil person, that his presence alone is the presence of darkness and despair. They've made him out to be this villain so that they can be a puppies and sunshine and rainbows type of positive, joyful presence. When Kamala Harris is greeted by this sobbing supporter, she consoles her and says, "We're going to be fine." Now I'm like thinking to myself, what would Donald Trump do if something like this happened? I don't think that he'd turn away a crying, sobbing supporter who was scared about what was going to come. I can't look at Kamala Harris and say, what are you doing? Like, why are you addressing this woman who looks like, okay, lady, get it together. But I'm not going to look at a presidential candidate and be like, gosh, they got everything under control. It'll be just fine. I think Donald Trump would double down in that moment and say, we have to win. We have to win because the policies that are on the other side that in theory, I would like to ask that lady, maybe not while she's crying, would be a little aggressive, I would say. What are you so upset about? What has you so afraid? And when you wait for that moment where they give you an answer, I wonder how realistic that answer would actually be. I wonder how much truth would exist in the answer provided by somebody who was that scared of Donald Trump becoming the president again. I don't know if it would be rooted in fact. We can't know. It's all anecdotal. But feelings is what this Kamala Harris campaign has been peddling in. They care very much about making you afraid. And tomorrow at this debate, Donald Trump is going to have the opportunity to impress upon America if he's a fearful guy, if he's somebody who should push you into being afraid because he's going to take away all abortions. That's the first thing that they're going to do. The first thing they're going to do is try to press the reproductive rights. And when they say it, this is an interesting thing you got to pay attention to. They talk about reproductive rights, which is 100% only an abortion conversation. But then when you start talking about abortion, they're like, reproductive rights is way more than abortion. It's like, okay, I see what you did there. The issue at hand that causes people to be emotionally charged is abortion. That's the one that they are going to push. That is why in Missouri they're trying to get, these questions on the ballot. They do that all around in all the states because even in a red state, abortion, especially depending on how you word that question on the ballot, will bring out the people who are single issue voters to come and support a pro-abortion take in the state. Donald Trump has said repeatedly, much to a greater portion of the Republican Party's dismay, that the rights are with the states and that's where it should be. He's not looking to sign any sort of national abortion ban. He's pulled back on the abortion issue to the point where Republicans intra-party are not really terribly happy with him on that issue. It's a to Bernie Sanders quote from earlier there. It's Donald Trump, I believe, doing and saying what he's believed the whole time about abortion, which is he really doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He seems to me to be the classic male pro-choice type of guy. Doesn't like abortion, doesn't want abortions to happen, doesn't really want to make that an issue for him in his presidency, probably in his life, where he's going to just let that be and hope that women choose life, but knowing that they can certainly choose abortion. Kind of a cop-out, if you ask me, but I understand the politics behind it. And I also think, as somebody who is incredibly pro-life, that the more Republican politicians push pro-life measures, the less successful they will ever be. I think it's a cultural issue, and I think that it's something that you and I have to fix, not something any president is going to fix, any governor is going to fix. I think it starts with us. I think it starts with communities. I think it starts with churches. And I think that Republicans who sit by and wait for the right guy to get elected, the right girl to get elected, are being lazy. And I put myself in that category. As somebody who is an activist in that regard, I should still do more. I should still do better. When Donald Trump debates Kamala Harris tomorrow, they both have the opportunity to introduce themselves once again, as if nobody knows who these people are, to the American people. CNN's headline, Harris campaign hopes Tuesday's debate is a chance to introduce the vice president to undecided voters. My Lord in heaven, she is the vice president of the United States. And Kamala Harris just got August. She got the whole flaming month of August, where Donald Trump kind of set himself aside, which I think was a smart move. They had the fanfare of the convention. They had Oprah, which is relevant to some people still, apparently. What other billionaires did they have? J.B. Pritzker, they landed J.B. Pritzker on that convention stage right after Bernie Sanders, which is hilarious. No bad press for Kamala Harris in August. She got a month. And she is the sitting vice president of the United States, probably closer to being the president of the United States than any vice president in my lifetime. But yes, let's introduce Kamala Harris to the American undecided voter tomorrow night. We want to know what you think about it. The YouTube live chat poll for today. How do you want your candidate to handle the debate? I don't know who your candidate is. I have a gut instinct on the majority out there where you might lean. But do you want them to be aggressive and in attack mode, or do you want them to be mindful and demure? We would love to know what you think about it. We've got some responses here on the YouTube live chat. Mark said, after Trump was shot, he preached unity and decorum. The debate would be a better time to show this and let her not show demure. I think that's some good advice. What do you think? Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go vote. Leave a comment. Wiggins America on what we missed over the weekend. Next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Well, the website is WindowWorld, stlewis.com. That's WindowWorld, stlewis.com. Are you looking for replacement windows for your home? I want you to check out quality and value at WindowWorld. The windows that are simply the best for less. Those are the two things you're looking for, right? 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. They understand the economy right now, but they also know that you're wasting a lot of money not replacing those windows that are super inefficient. You've been paying to cool the air in your home. It's been seeping out of those leaky windows. Pretty soon you'll be paying to heat the air that's in your home that'll be seeping out of those leaky windows. Invest in great replacement windows and save with 36 months, up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit from Window World. This is a great way to make sure that you can get the job done the correct way. And if you call 314-993-1800 and you mention that you heard it on the Annie Fry Show, you are going to be entered to win a drawing for 4 St. Louis Blues tickets during the upcoming season from Window World. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you call 314-993-1800. WindowWorld, stlewis.com.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-699-1059.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
How do you want your candidate to handle the debate? This is big stuff tomorrow night. Hope you're paying attention. But how do you want your candidate to handle this whole thing? Aggressive and in attack mode, or mindful and demure? That's very good vocabulary from the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. It is 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Cox Morning Show is live in Eureka this Wednesday in support of the Focus Marines Foundation. Go to 971talk.com/events to find out more. We're looking forward to seeing you at Chicken Ellie's in Eureka this Wednesday, live with the Mark Cox Morning Show.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins!
Monday Roundup. Yeehaw! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
I resist the temptation doing the Monday Roundup to just bring you box office news over the weekend every time.
That's good because I don't care.
Because, yeah, I don't think
watch any movies.
Most of us probably don't care. But when there's a big story, like, for instance, when we were talking about Wolverine and Deadpool, that was a big one.
Go on.
What?
Huge. Life-changing.
Hey, it was. Brad went and saw it. That means that it was worthwhile.
That was helpful.
Beetlejuice
Yay.
has drawn $110 million in its opening weekend, making it the third biggest premiere of the year and the second biggest September premiere ever. The first biggest September premiere ever was It. You have seen It. We talk about It.
Not the new one.
Oh, you haven't seen the new one?
Hell no.
Oh, I thought you had.
No. Why?
I think because...
Why would you think that I would have?
Well, I think I'm getting you confused with my wife who
That's a bad
talks
idea.
about... Yeah.
They'll never say that again.
She wants me to watch the new It really bad. And we've talked about It enough that I just put you in that category.
Sounds like we're talking about something you know.
It. Yeah, you wants me to watch It. You know what I mean. We can't say it around the kids. No, it's just
Not our kids. Don't be confused about that.
So Beetlejuice is killing it at the box office. It was a much bigger opening than they expected. Do you have any interest in seeing this movie?
No.
No?
No.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I didn't like the original.
I didn't like the original because I think I was 6 or 7 when it came out, and it was very, very dark and scary. I've watched it more recently, and it's a good movie. But I do want to see this movie. I guess I'm alone. I guess I'll go see it and give him my
There's
20
no way
bucks.
you could have predicted that.
I know. I thought you guys, especially Brad, I didn't know if you were on the fence to me. I thought Brad would be interested in seeing Beetlejuice.
Brad's totally a Beetlejuice kind of guy. He felt judged. Felt you just made a statement about him.
Yeah,
when
and
he
I
said that.
thought it was a positive one. I
no.
didn't even know. It wasn't even trying to insult
What about
you guys.
me says wants to see Beetlejuice?
I don't know. I just thought you'd like your cinema buff.
No.
It's a big sequel.
I did hear that it's a Tim Burton film.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear read, I should say, from somebody on Twitter that it was just a good, entertaining movie, that there's no, they always say there's no woke stuff in it. That's what they said. I don't know. I'm still not going to see it.
That's important.
If it happened to be on my television in my house when I was there, I'd probably play online poker while I watched it.
Man, you really don't care about seeing this movie. I almost am ready to go see it.
This is why we traditionally don't do movie stories, because I don't care about seeing any movies.
Well, let me say the movies that
it's 2 hours of time that I don't have.
So that's the number 3 movie of the year. The other 2 bigger movies of the year.
I did see Inside Out.
Inside Out 2.
Yes.
Okay.
For my kids.
Well, but it's on the list.
Yeah.
And
it
you
was
went to the
good.
theater.
It was good. I did.
So it's killing it. Inside Out 2, I think, is the number 1 movie of the year.
Went to see before Inside Out 2 in the theater. Maybe
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Maybe Frozen 2.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
Our kids are just at
Maybe.
the age. We're starting to go back to the movie theater. We pretty much are just seeing M. Night Shyamalan movies, though.
With your children?
No, just me and my wife. They're old enough.
It's like, good grief.
No.
I did watch Signs at home in my family pursuit to resurge 80s and 90s and early 2000s movies. We watched Signs with my oldest too. And it was an experience for them because that is a suspenseful,
heck yeah, it is.
Scary, great movie because it doesn't have blood and gore.
Right.
And if there's a cuss word in there, they probably hear more inside our house from me than they did from the movie. And there's no like nudity or anything like that. Just great suspense.
Yeah.
And they were like not okay in the middle of it. And then at the end, they're like, that was a really good movie. I'm like, so you got to stick it out to the end.
Oh, man. My kids, I think, would have a conniption if we tried watching that.
We didn't watch it with my 8-year-old.
No,
No way.
We're not ready.
She'd still be attached to me right now in here.
Yeah.
And that was like a month ago.
Yeah. All right. George W. Bush will not make a presidential endorsement.
This is also shocking.
It's a non-story that is a story. Former President George W. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush will not be getting involved in this campaign, it seems, at all.
I think it's an endorsement for Trump.
Do you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every other Republican out there that is in the swamp anti-Trump world can't stop themselves from talking about supporting Harris. And they're not doing it.
It was amazing to me to see over the weekend some of the Twitter accounts I follow that are leftists on purpose. I try to get a broad range of opinions on things, saying, "Oh, this is a great endorsement." I'm thinking, of all the people you would hate anything ever that Dick Cheney would endorse Kamala Harris. They hate that man with a burning passion. I don't have any particular affinity for him.
Did we say Dick Cheney out loud?
I don't know if we said it out loud or
not. Well, we did now.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought maybe
Making sure?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Here?
Yes.
Okay. Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Mitt Romney's not supporting Harris but not supporting Trump, David French.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Just like you said, I think in the last segment, these
I don't
people
really
are
know
irrelevant.
if I can support Donald Trump now.
Can you imagine the person who's
very conflicted?
My gosh, like there was waiting that George W. Bush would have made the deciding
I
factor.
really
for
thought W had come through. I don't know if we can win Texas now.
I'm just going to sit this one out then if W is not telling me who to vote for.
I still like George W. Bush.
Good for you.
Thank you.
The
Good for me.
Two of the biggest names in the breakfast game are teaming up, Annie.
Aunt Jemima, is she back?
No.
Oh.
Hormel and General Mills. It's the other two you were thinking of.
Hormel?
Hormel and General Mills, they are introducing two different companies teaming up to give you Black Label Cinnamon Toast Crunch bacon. Now, before you judge it.
Judge it or?
The product.
Oh, okay.
Inside each package, you can expect to find thick-cut bacon, hand-rubbed with a Cinnadust seasoning blend made from Cinnamon Toast Crunch. When cooked, the crisp bacon has a sweet, savory, salty flavor profile that pairs perfectly with classic breakfast dishes like pancakes and French toast. Does that not sound fantastic? Cinnamon Toast Crunch bacon.
I don't. It's weird to me that it's the cereal.
Yeah, it's just,
I know you can do a lot of things.
You can do a lot of stuff with bacon. You've had candied bacon.
I'm
before?
not really like a bacon exploratory type of person. But
You're not really a
good.
food exploratory type of person.
Not really.
But this,
I was going to push back on that, but you're right.
You wanted to fight, but there's no fight.
No.
But this is something that would fall within the category of things you would try, right?
I wouldn't inherently not try it. I don't need to eat like the whole package.
Brad, candied bacon person?
No, I've never really liked the sweet on top of the savory.
Done right, though. If you do like a maple glaze or something.
You can say, there are a ton of people out there that like it.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people. And it doesn't matter what you say. And I always get that same reaction from the same people that are always asking me to try some sort of sweet bacon. I don't like
Is this
honey
a
on
high-pressure
ham.
situation in your life?
It is.
Sounds like it happens a lot.
I know people that run restaurants, and they're like, why don't you eat this?
Terry,
like,
every Saturday
like
morning, hey, Brad, I'm cooking something up. You ready to try it?
She's given up.
Kendrick Lamar is headlining the next Super Bowl halftime show. The question
It's about time they made that decision. Seems really early.
Now, yeah, what is this? This is the first weekend of the NFL. They're
yes,
announcing
it's the first weekend, but it is important that we report it. Go on.
Well, it's all over the place.
Name something that Kendrick Lamar does that I know.
That was my next question. Do you have any idea any of this guy's songs?
I'm certain I do, but you've heard me try to do like 60s and 70s rock. Same. I know the songs. I've heard of Kendrick Lamar.
I've heard of Kendrick Lamar. I've heard the name. So when I saw the headline, I thought, oh, maybe, but I couldn't think of any of the songs. I looked up Kendrick Lamar's best songs, most famous songs, listened to them. I was even going to pull a clip. I can't.
They all filthy?
At least the one I listened to that was the number one on
what
YouTube. It was called like.
You don't know the name?
No, that's how much I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, but you went to the trouble to do the research.
You
just had to
I'll tell you
write
what,
it down.
I looked it up at 11 o'clock. That's how long it didn't stick with me. This is a huge artist.
You're reporting.
Well, I did look it up, and I don't know how he's going to do at least that song, because it was constant.
Maybe there's a radio edit version of it.
I guess I'll find that out for tomorrow.
We'll never know because we don't know what you're talking about.
Kendrick Lamar. Look him up.
Now, that part is established. cool Scharf in studio next hour to tell us about Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I want to talk to you about the Retirement Advisory Group and Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group, along with Thomas Helbig. This family-operated business, they're always working to make sure that you are provided with the best information you need to plan for your retirement, that transitionary part of your retirement. We have an event coming up again, Tuesday, October 1st. I think this is the last one that we will do this year. So please sign up and make sure that you reserve your spot before they are all reserved. Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Thomas and Bob and Tammy will be there to guide you through how they do this, how they protect your retirement, how they make sure you don't outlive your retirement. If you also are 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from more losses. Schedule your appointment today and reserve your spot. 314-993-9494. You can find them online as well at retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The murder trial over the killing of 4 university students will be moved in Idaho. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A state judge granting the defense request for a change of venue to a different county.
Judge John C. Judge in Latah County ruled Brian Coburg can have his trial moved. He cited the findings of a number of experts who testified primarily about the size of Latah County, with just over 40,000 residents. A media expert said coverage of the case was more diluted in neighboring Ada County, which has over 400,000 residents. It's home to Boise. Another survey found that while more people were convinced of Coburger's guilt in counties surrounding Latah, there'd be a greater potential to find a less biased jury pool because of the population differences.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The judge also citing space and staffing issues at the courthouse. Coburger is accused of stabbing to death 4 University of Idaho students in an off-campus house in November of 2022. Just getting reports of charges against 2 leaders of a transnational gang accused of a conspiracy to target Black, immigrant, LGBT, and Jewish people with hate crimes. Reuters citing a Justice Department official saying the gang wanted to incite a race war in the U.S. and used the Telegram platform, which uses encryption, to post messages promoting white supremacy. No other details yet. An outpouring of grief and love at a memorial service for NHL All-Star Johnny Gaudreau and his younger brother Matthew, struck and killed by a suspected drunk driver while riding bikes in New Jersey last month on the eve of their sister's wedding. Matthew's wife, Madeline.
The loss of Maddie and John will leave a hole in the family with his close friends, the community for eternity. However, their legacy will live on through the lives of everyone they touched. their kids, their wives, their parents, their siblings.
And there were 2 caskets side by side for today's funeral in Pennsylvania. The brothers had played hockey together at Boston College. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
No complaints about our Monday afternoon weather with sunshine in control. About 83 will do it for the high. Tonight, clear skies, upper 70s as we get into the evening, 56 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny skies. Nice start to the morning on Tuesday, but warmer Tuesday afternoon, 88. Wednesday, still on tap to be the hottest day of the week, sunny and 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
More good news for Frederick Roofing, voted best roofing company by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Del's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2024. Save 60%. Code 2024. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Trump debates Harris this Tuesday. Listen live as these two candidates meet for the first time ever, and maybe the only time.
Democracy 2024.
Trump versus Harris. Tuesday night, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on,
I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday, but it's also debate day, and we are getting prepared for that. Would love to know what you hope to see out of your candidate. If you visit the Annie Fry YouTube channel, we're broadcasting live there, and you can always see our live broadcast just by going to search Annie Fry, F-R-E-Y, on YouTube. And while we are live, if you go to the live chat portion of that broadcast, you'll see this question. How do you want your candidate to handle the debate? Do you want them to be aggressive and in attack mode, or do you want them to be mindful and demure? We would love to hear what you have to say about that. You can leave a comment when you come visit. Josh says, mindful and demure. Trump needs to act like Joe Biden is still standing there. He gets aggressive with a woman, and it plays right into Comrade Kamala's hands. And let's see here. Dirk says, he's got two here. Choose a calm approach. Or is it choose a calm approach? If Trump can get Harris to laugh, he wins hands down. You think Donald Trump can get Kamala Harris to laugh? That would be interesting. I dare him. Erica said, I vote aggressive just because I don't like mindful and demure in my candidate, though I would like to see him assertive and smart. We need to know what you think. And, watching Donald Trump push policy aggressively, but not attack personally, I think is what I would like to see. But I would call Joe Biden, Donald Trump, mindful and demure. He was not aggressive in attacking.
I agree. And I think that's what he's going to have to be in this one, not because of anything other, not because it's Kamala, not instead of Biden, but because of the muted microphones. I mean, there's no way for you to be bold and super aggressive when you can't interrupt a point. You come off as kind of like, it would be unnatural. You'd be like forcing yourself in your moment to be energetic.
I kind of want to see Kamala Harris make a really stupid point that she's expecting Donald Trump to try to jump in on. And I just want him to just take an extra pause and be like, I just want to make sure you're done speaking.
I want to see, we've talked about this before, I want to see Donald Trump quoting Kamala Harris, like over and over saying, we have to move forward based on the, what's the Kamala quote? I'm losing it now.
Unburdened by what is bad.
Unburdened by what is bad.
Quoting Kamala Harris, he needs to put Kamala Harris's words in Kamala Harris's mouth. Mm-hmm. He needs to go and talk about the many different things that she has talked about that are very much against what she is saying right now. This is a clip from 2019, Kamala Harris on vehicles. And how
so will everyone have to drive electric cars?
Well, by my plan, by 2045, we will have basically zero emission vehicles only, 100%.
2045. Zero emission vehicles, no gas cars. 2017, let's talk about women and their income.
On average, women make 80 cents on the dollar. To men, if you're talking about African-American women, it's 61 cents. If it's Latinas, it's 53 cents. So there is an obvious issue that we have around not only disparities, but fairness and equal pay for equal work. So let's get beyond that because it's not a debatable point. The question becomes, what are we going to do about it? And I think the goal, we would all agree, should be that people should be paid equally for equal work. But we haven't yet reached that point. We're going to have to create incentives to get there.
Okay, how do you create incentives to get there? Because I, for one, would like to get paid more. And I think this benefits me because I'm a woman.
It scares me, though.
I want to make them Ryan Wiggins dollars.
No, it doesn't scare me as a white male. It scares me because what it sounds like is, well, the way the government would bring about equity, because she loves equity, would be to tax those who are maybe of a race that makes more money.
Here is one of her solutions.
So what I am proposing is that we shift the burden away from that working woman and instead onto that corporation to prove that they're paying people equally. Because here's the reality of it, Ari. Every day in America, there are women who are, hanging out at the water cooler with one of their colleagues who works in the cubicle right next to them, does the same work they're doing. And then they might start talking about what they got their kids for Christmas or what the new car is or the new washing machine they bought. And it becomes clear to that woman they're not getting paid the same amount.
How is that even possibly? This is from 2017. How is it even possible that you could be, first of all, nobody collects around the water cooler anymore. That doesn't happen any longer. But if you were to, say, be around our little water cooler, I think we have two.
Ice machine.
Next to each other, just for ice.
The Keurig.
And you're like, you start talking about what you're getting your kids for Christmas gifts. And from there, you've determined that you don't make as much money as the man.
Yeah, we're just talking about Christmas.
Maybe that's because you suck at economics and numbers. Maybe that's why you don't make as much number. Maybe your inference on the fact that, you're getting a PS7 for your son for Christmas and I'm just, getting a used PS4. Maybe that's because they have handled their situation a little bit differently than you do. Maybe they have a secondary income. There are a million reasons why. Maybe they got it on sale. Maybe they stole it.
Now, I think what you're overlooking, though, is the very direct conversations that we often have at our ice machine or our coffee machine, where you'll be talking about, where are you going to Christmas? I'm going to probably go to my in-laws. How much money are you making a year? Just ballpark.
Maybe. This is why people don't talk at the water cooler anymore.
Yeah, what exactly, how would you define your race? And what's your salary? And also, where are you doing Christmas?
Let's see here. 2019, immigration. Where was Kamala Harris on those detention centers?
I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one.
I wish you would have said, let me be clear. It's a
I
little
do
foggy.
Too. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. So that's where she is. Now she's also for the wall. Have we asked her for specifics on the wall?
I think even the policy positions that we've gotten from her that seem like flip-flops have been just from random people around her. She's not talking to anybody.
Well, the wall thing, they released a picture of her with a picture of the wall, and it was Trump's wall.
Yeah. Pay no attention to the man behind the wall. It's Donald Trump just peeking around going, it's a big, beautiful wall. Here's a very important one for last week's news with school shootings. And this is from Kamala Harris's quote in 2020.
Again, what we need to do about demilitarizing our schools and taking police officers out of schools. We need to deal with the reality and speak the truth about the inequities around school discipline.
What? I mean, you want to take police officers out of school, and you want to deal with the inequity of discipline. And a reminder, that was from 2020. They won. Here we are.
Yeah.
What have you done? You don't want to go back? Well, you haven't moved us forward any longer. What about healthcare? And again, just to Ryan's point, using Kamala Harris's words, he wants to see Donald Trump use Kamala Harris's words. Healthcare is an important one, and immigration together.
Says, quote,
2020.
Every individual who is a resident of the United States is entitled to benefits for healthcare services under this act. Not every individual who's a citizen, but every individual who's a resident. Mm-hmm. So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all, to people who are in this country illegally?
Let me just be very clear about
please.
this.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health, period.
Period. She's clear. I can hear the marbles rolling around in her head while she's bobbing her head on that audio clip. What did she say there? Healthcare, public safety, education. If you are a human being in this country, you get those things. Never mind that none of those things are free. if you've come here and you've got a human DNA pulse, you get those things free. Her words, these are all in her words. That's from 2020. Listen, these are the things that she said so she could get elected to the current position she's serving in now as Vice President of the United States of America. She made these promises. She got elected. Here we are. Assess your current situation right now. You pretty happy about this? I mean, we can go on. There's more. Clean energy and everything that she's willing to invest there.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
What does she mean by reduce population?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a really good question.
Also, it seems, back to the last point, it seems a little racist to me that she only wants to give education and healthcare to people within our borders. Do people not exist outside of our borders?
Fair point. Well, not for long. Maybe that's part of the plan. She's actually quite giving.
There's a lot of people of color existing outside of our borders.
Maybe what we do is we expand our borders through conquering America.
Like colonialism.
Like Hillary Clinton said. She said she dreamt of a borderless Western Hemisphere.
I don't understand why we can't pay for these things for more people than just the people that are here.
You can just print the money.
Just print the money.
Just print the money. I'm glad we said that because I'm going to share with you a graph that I have here on the YouTube. You can watch with us, but we'll walk you through it a little bit here. This is the purchasing power of $100 in every state. And I find it interesting because everything is done in shades of red, but the less red the state, the lower the purchasing power of $100. Illinois, this is all according to visualcapitalist.com. It says factors like the cost of living and local taxes affect the real value of money. We don't say. $100 is worth 26% less in California than in Arkansas.
Wow, yes, it is.
If you're in California and you're making bank and an income and you can relocate to Arkansas, there's going to be a transitionary period there where you're going to go, wow.
This is great.
This is fantastic.
This Walmart's so cheap.
Illinois, $99. Missouri, a whole $10 more. Your $100 is worth $10 more in Missouri than Illinois.
Well, I can almost guarantee you, too, that it's way worse in Illinois because of Chicago. You know, downstate, we're going to be more like Missouri, more like Indiana, Kentucky, where I bet in Chicago it's much worse.
If the state laws and taxes and regulations
that's true
infuse itself across the entire state, it doesn't much matter if Cook County, while they are about 64% of the population of the state, of course, the entire state goes the way of that. New York, $92. That's the value of your $100 bill. California, $88, I believe, is the lowest. Hawaii, $89. A lot of people hovering around that 98, 99, 102, 103 mark. But just surrounding Illinois, Missouri is at $109, Iowa $112, Wisconsin $108, Michigan $107, Indiana $108, Kentucky $111, Tennessee $108, Arkansas $113. Even if you go a little bit further west, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, $111, $110, $112. Illinois, when people talk about the outbound flight of people in Illinois, yes, they might be going to Texas. Yes, they might be going to Florida where it's worth $98. It's still a little bit under. There's a lot of places you can go just across your closest border, depending on if you do live close to the border, which a lot of people would because the established communities often happen near borders, near the rivers. That's where cities begin their growth when people are settling initially. You do not have to do a lot in as far as changing your entire lifestyle to make your dollar go pretty significantly more, 10%.
No, and people are doing this. I mean, that's why, the economies, it's funny because as we're talking about it, you can't see the map that we're looking at. We're just sort of reiterating what we can see. But the areas where your dollar has been hurt the most are exactly what you'd think. The West Coast and the East Coast, New England, right up to about North Carolina is where it starts to go back up again. It's pretty remarkable. And then right in the center of the country, you got a blue oasis of Illinois and a blue oasis of Colorado. And those are the two lowest in the middle of the country.
Man, Andy, you were talking about the outbound, all you got to do is cross the border. I'm looking at all the states that touch or share a physical border with Illinois. Wisconsin is 108, Iowa 112, Missouri 109, Kentucky 111, Indiana 108. All of them 10% or more higher.
Yeah. Makes me think about my choices. All right.
Makes me think about Wisconsin. Going to Wisconsin. Going to really any state other than the one we're in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's what the $100 is worth. I'm going to tweet out the link to that right now if you want to check that out or share it with folks at Annie Fry Show on X. And join us in the next segment. Will Scharf. When was the last time we had Will in? Right after the election? Right before the election?
August 6th.
I'm very excited to talk to him about the delayed sentencing, where all of the Trump trials are sitting right now, but also I'm curious about his thoughts. He's talked to us internally. I think we've talked about it a little bit on the show before too. The security of the elections and what different states are doing legislatively, legally, what the courts have done. We'll see what he knows. Will Scharf in studio with us when we come back.
Talk too much, I've seen it all go down.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you've been dragging your feet waiting for the perfect opportunity to consolidate your debt, start an overdue home remodel, refinance to a shorter term, or get rid of that dreaded PMI, then now is the time to give me, Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, a call at 314-336-6050. Interest rates have come down and home values are up. I'm here in St. Louis, and when you call, you will speak to me. Whether you are purchasing your first home, your dream home, or needing to refinance your current home, call a local lender. Call Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage. I will give you straightforward answers and develop a plan that fits your goals. My direct number is 314-336-6050. 314-336-6050. Or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage, LLC, 224143, NMLS 250353.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you're not sure who to call for air conditioning services, contact the team at Air Comfort Service. With 55 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust them with the comfort of your home. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Brad Young.
Right now, Hunter Biden is a convicted felon, as he is pleading guilty to these tax charges, and that must be factored into the judge's decision on sentencing.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me tonight, FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants, because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them.
That is from Springfield, Ohio. Weirdest story so far of the election cycle. Haitian immigrants. From what I understand, I read tens of thousands of Haitian immigrants have been established. Didn't they up the population of that town by 30% or something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe even more. Will Scharf coming in hot into the studio here, and I go, "What's the biggest story you want to talk about?" And he's like, "Haitian immigrants."
I mean, it's in fairness to them, the ducks in the park are free. This is a great life hack that nobody's stumbled on yet.
Yeah, but technically so are we now, and I'm worried about what happens next.
No, we're living in insane times, and when we talk about the 2024 election, when we talk about immigration policy, when we talk about the chaos on the border, I mean, this just really drives home what we're dealing with as a country. You've got people coming here who just view life, I think, a very different way than we do. And, there was the guy walking around with a duck. I saw a picture of some guy with a goose. There was some woman who apparently ate a cat. This is just weird stuff. And I, for one, I just want America to get back to normal.
I think that the reason why I'm willing to start our conversation with Will Scharf talking about the Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, and the cats and the ducks, and all of the really adorable Trump memes that are out there right now of him rescuing cats and ducks. It's not bad for his image, is that this is about law and order. And the idea that you could be in this small town, Springfield, Ohio, which I guess there's a Springfield everywhere. I don't know anything about Springfield, Ohio, but I will forever know Springfield, Ohio for this. And even if certain things, like you said, aren't against the law, the ducks, which had never occurred to me before that meat prices at the store are high right now. Jared, why don't you go down to LeClaire Park and get yourself a goose? I'd never really thought about telling Jared that before. I don't think that we would get away with that. But there is a complete and total disorder to things right now, and the Biden administration has seen to that.
Well, and I think one of the crazy things is if you talk to folks down in Texas or Arizona, and I have a lot of friends who have been working on border issues for a long time, this is the sort of craziness that border communities have been dealing with for a very, very long time. And it's taken the failures of the Biden administration, the fact that instead of talking about a couple 100,000 illegal immigrants a year, we're talking about millions of illegal immigrants a year. It's taken that failure for these sorts of issues to reach normal Midwestern American communities, places that didn't used to have to worry about the immigration crisis the same way that folks down at the border did. And it just goes to show how outrageous the failures of the Biden-Harris administration really have been and what's at stake in the months ahead.
So we're speaking with Will Scharf. He's in studio with us for the rest of the hour. He is an attorney for Donald Trump. He's a former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri as well. We always love having you in to talk about everything that is going on with the Donald Trump lawfare, which is another chapter in this unlawful and disorderly time that we're living in right now. We know that the Donald Trump sentencing has been delayed to the end of November. It's after Election Day. Very consequential in taking that off of the left's playbook for this campaign, because it could have been sentenced to jail. It's within the realm of possibility that Donald Trump could have had that sentencing from this crazy judge. What did you make of that, the arc of where we are right now after getting that sentencing pushed back past the election?
Yeah, I mean, last time I was on the show, you guys asked me about sentencing, and I said that I just don't think sentencing is going to happen because we have very real legal issues in that case, the presidential immunity decision from the Supreme Court most notably, that have to be dealt with before we get to sentencing. That's really what Judge Merchan's order is responding to. We've challenged that case over and over and over again because, to be frank, they rushed it. They ran roughshod over the law. They ran roughshod over normal procedure. And now the New York DA's office has to pay for that. And I'm happy that President Trump has one less thing to worry about in the lead up to the 2024 election. But to me, the real problem is that this case should have never been brought. This case was not well-founded. The jury verdict is going to be overturned on appeal. But the way that they have organized this entire campaign of lawfare, it's not actually about upholding the law. It's about inflicting maximal political damage on Donald Trump in the lead up to the 2024 election. And to me, that's just an incredible unconstitutional misuse of our legal system for nakedly political ends. So that's what we're fighting against. Friday, we had a huge win in getting that sentencing pushed off until after the election. I don't think sentencing's ever going to actually happen in that case. And we just need to keep on fighting. You know, we have ongoing litigation in D.C., down in Florida and Georgia and elsewhere. We're going to keep on fighting and we're going to keep on winning because the facts are on our side and the law is on our side.
Will, do you feel like they got their convicted felon label?
He's not a convicted felon
until somebody has said that. Now explain the details to me because I don't know this for certain.
Until final judgment is entered, which is usually at the time of sentencing, Donald Trump is not a convicted felon. He is not a felon in the eyes of the law. He has not lost his rights the way that other felons do. He is not a convicted felon. This talking point is patently absurd. It's an attempt by the left to attribute to him conduct that he didn't commit. And it's an attempt by the left to play the refs, that they want to establish this narrative that Kamala's a prosecutor and he's a convicted felon. Well, she was barely a prosecutor. She was a terrible prosecutor. And until the day of sentencing, Donald Trump is not a convicted felon, which, as we've just established, may never actually happen. So it's a bad talking point. I think it's an incorrect talking point, and it's I put a lot of blame on the mainstream media for letting the left to run with that narrative.
So I want to play, Brad, I'm going to ask you this question before I play it. I have this audio from the Molly Hemingway report.
That somebody recorded it on their phone off of a TV.
It says poor quality, but can we understand it?
We can understand it. It just doesn't sound very good.
Okay, let's just listen to this because I want to get Will's reaction to this clip. And this is with Alvin Bragg.
Has just come out from the public affairs chief of the Southern District of New York saying, quote,
Alvin Bragg was stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it fit a case. To be honest with you, I think the case is nonsense. Every real estate person in New York does what Trump did. Nobody's even been charged with this.
So we have this report that leaked audio from Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's office reveals that Bragg stacked charges against Trump, and the public affairs chief believes the charges were an overreach. This will come as zero shock, I'm sure, to Will Scharf, but isn't it kind of interesting that from the inside they're admitting it?
So to be clear, this guy doesn't work for Bragg. He works for the Southern District of New York, the federal prosecutor's office in the Southern District of New York. He is the senior ranking public affairs official for the Department of Justice in the Southern District of New York. And they caught him on one of these like hidden camera things where the guy's out having drinks with, someone he thought he was on a date with. And they start asking him questions about this stuff. And, in vino veritas, he told what he believes is the truth and what I believe is the truth, which is that these cases are absolute garbage. But this is a career justice professional, a guy with no political axe to grind, who's admitting what we all know to be true, which is that these cases are just absurd. And I believe that when you catch them off guard, when you catch them in private, folks on the left understand what this all is.
They know what they're doing.
They get that this is it's an attempt at political assassination. This isn't about upholding the law. It's about getting Donald Trump at all costs. And that attitude, that mentality is just so corrosive to our constitutional republic and to the rule of law. I hope we're able to recover on the back end, because this is a bold new world in terms of the depths the left is willing to sink to achieve their ultimate end, which is taking political power.
I'm so glad that Ryan Wiggins is happily married, because you would be spilling the secrets of the Annie Fry Show on dates left and right.
Look,
you would be the easiest person.
Guys, I'm not married. I go on dates all the time. Every time somebody asks me about this stuff, I'm like, is this some secret sting? James
will you sneak in like rumors just about Ryan Wiggins? They won't even know who you're talking about. I just wanted to see if we can get stuff out there.
James O'Keefe did an incredible job with this stuff over the years, and now I think more conservative outlets are starting to do the same thing. But it's just incredible that when you catch these people in private off guard, they're willing to say the quiet part out loud, and that's what we've seen in New York.
Well, you said a couple times that you don't even think the sentencing will take place. And I was just kind of wondering, is this like a political reason you don't think it'll take place, or is there like legal reasons you think?
Both.
So on this presidential immunity issue, basically the Supreme Court said in its opinion that came down on July 1st that not only does a president have immunity from prosecution for certain acts, but you can't even use evidence of immune acts in a prosecution that would otherwise be allowed to go forward. That's exactly what happened in New York. So we've challenged that jury verdict on the basis of presidential immunity. After we have a decision from Judge Merchan on that, we have the right to appeal that immediately before sentence can be passed down, before final judgment can be entered. That appellate process could conceivably go all the way back up to the U.S. Supreme Court. That's going to take a very long time. Now, I believe President Trump is going to be reelected in November. I believe come January, he's going to be sitting in the White House. It is black letter law that you cannot prosecute a sitting president of the United States of America. That's derived from the U.S. Constitution, from the Take Care Clause and the Supremacy Clauses of the U.S. Constitution. So we could easily end up with a situation where this case is just sort of out there hanging while Donald Trump serves his next 4 years as president. What are they going to do? Schedule sentencing for 2029?
Yes.
I mean,
that's exactly what they're going to do.
At some point, this all just becomes so absurd and so silly that I think it all just kind of falls away. But I said from the start that New York jury verdict would not stand, that there are so many legal issues in that case, including this presidential immunity issue. I don't think sentencing's ever going to happen there. I hope sentencing never happens there because, I sat through that trial. I don't think President Trump did anything wrong.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think that if Donald Trump tried to commit the same crime again, that he could figure out how to do it. Will Scharf in studio with us, Donald Trump attorney, former federal prosecutor for the Eastern District of Missouri, is going to stick around for one more segment. We got a lot more questions to ask you. Questions coming in as well on our YouTube channel. You can join us there on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Vote in the poll today as well. How do you want your candidate to handle the debate tomorrow? Do you want them to be aggressive and in attack mode, or do you want them to be mindful and demure? Let us know on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We will get to more of that in the 2 o'clock hour along with the results. And Will Scharf still sticking with us for one more segment. Don't go away. Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. They're offering a flash deal for a free service call. This is almost $100 worth of savings. I've never been able to offer this, I don't think, before. This is brand new. This is fresh. So if you are in need of a service call, now is the time to be certain to do it. Reach out to them at aircomfortservice.com, 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. If your air conditioner or furnace needs to be serviced, visit aircomfortservice.com/flash. They're trying to make me screw up on my words. That's difficult to say. /flash to take advantage of this limited time offer. Air Comfort Service has been keeping St. Louis area homeowners in their comfort zone for 55 plus years. You could be the next customer, or if you want to make sure that your loved one that maybe you're looking after to make sure that their furnace and AC unit are in good working order, this is a great time to take advantage of that. Remember, this flash deal for a free service call, almost $100 worth of savings, 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com/flash.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-699-1059. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-699-1059. That's 800-699-1059.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll.
Ryan, get on the ball. Where you been?
It's Will's fault. How do you want your candidate to handle the debate, which is tomorrow night? It'll be live right here on 97.1. Aggressive and in attack mode, or mindful and demure. It's one of those two options. You got to pick one of those two. YouTube live chat poll. How do you want your candidate to handle the debate? The time is 1:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Then he looked into my eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Yes, he was. Being good isn't always easy, no matter how hard I try. When he started sweet talking to me, he come and tell me everything is all right. You kiss and tell me everything.
All right, welcome back. We've got Will Scharf in studio here, Donald Trump's attorney. Friday, was it? You sent me the video of him standing up at the podium, delivering the news on the delayed sentencing. Donald Trump to your left, I recall. What's it like to get the opportunity? For a lot of this, you've been running for attorney general.
Yeah.
You've been doing both things here, and now you're like the guy at the podium with Donald Trump to the side.
Yeah, I'm just a lawyer now. The people of Missouri
That's
decided
exactly
that
what
they
we
didn't.
feel. That's exactly what we feel like here. You're
We're gonna
just
have Will
a lawyer.
in. Oh, he's just a lawyer now.
No, but it's it was a crazy day.
Yeah,
so
is he even doing anything these days?
Friday,
Does he even know anybody?
Friday morning, we had oral arguments in front of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in Lower Manhattan on one of these E. Jean Carroll cases. And then President Trump had a scheduled press conference right after that at Trump Tower. And basically, as we're on the way down in the elevator, right before we got on the elevator, President Trump was like, "Oh yeah, Will, you'll stand up and say a few words." And before, I had no notice that I was going to get thrown in front of a national press conference. So I went up there. I explained a little bit about the case and talked about lawfare. It was kind of crazy. My phone was blowing up because I guess a lot of people were watching. But it was a great day for us. Between oral argument, which I thought went about as well as we could have hoped, and then the fact that we got this news about sentencing being pushed off until after the election. It was a fun day, and it was even better to get back to Missouri late Friday night. So.
Well, I know somebody else is just a lawyer. Chris Christie, he might actually just be a lawyer. Is he still a lawyer, technically?
Chris Christie?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is he still a practicing? He had some thoughts on Donald Trump's preparation for the debate that is coming up here.
He doesn't get ready. I mean, as someone who was in charge of debate prep in 2016 and 2020 for him, it was a constant struggle. There were times when we would go and debate prep would be scheduled. We'd go in to sit with him and he would just say, "No, I'm not doing it." and that would be it. And it just wouldn't happen. And so my guess is that, especially now, as you said in the lead up, his 7th general election presidential debate, he really doesn't think he needs to prepare.
What does Donald Trump need when it comes to debate prep, Will? What does he not know already that he needs to sit down with people who are, air quotes, smarter than him regarding these things that he's going to need to learn or be told?
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about that Chris Christie statement is that Christie is, I guess, a bit hurt that Trump didn't rely on his advice in the 2016 debates. The 2016 debates went great for Donald Trump. I think he shredded Hillary Clinton, including at a debate right here at Washington University.
You'd be in
with
jail.
all the press stacked against him, with everything, all those disadvantages. Trump did incredibly well. He's a very good debater. When he's on his game, I think he's the best debater in modern American political history. I think we saw that on display with the first debate against Biden. I think we're going to see it on display tomorrow in this next debate against Kamala Harris. I think he is a natural communicator. He's been in the public eye for so long. He probably does need a lot less prep than most politicians do for these sorts of things. I know that he's been talking to people. There have been public reports about him having meetings about debate strategy and all that with different figures, including Missouri's own Eric Schmidt, our junior senator. So I think he's fine. I think what Chris Christie's saying is absolute garbage. And I think that, we've heard these sorts of attacks for years against President Trump. It's political types and people who have been in the public arena for a while who feel left out. And they feel like they should have sort of their moment in the sun. That's really not what this is about. But I'm excited for the debate tomorrow. I think it's going to go really well for us. I think the more the American people get to actually hear from Kamala Harris, the better for President Trump.
I don't think it was just Chris Christie that said this, but I think President Trump in the last couple of weeks has said, no, you pretty much have to, and I'm paraphrasing here, but you have to know the information.
Yeah.
You're not going to get all the information in 5 days before the debate and then go, okay, now I'm ready. It's like a lifetime of public service and business that he brings to the table he was talking about. But I still wonder if does he go into these things not trying to prepare one-liners and get the information like that Kamala's doing right now.
I just can't imagine Donald Trump sitting down writing his best jokes.
No way. That's why they come
he's
off
firing from the hip all the time.
Exactly. But does he go in with any sort of does he listen to advice about, hey, maybe the tone, try this, try that? Does he have a strategy for those types of things.
Yeah, look, he has an incredible team of political advisors around him now. I think this is his best political team that he's ever had, going back to 2016 and before. I know that they've had conversations about this. I won't reveal things that I've heard in private, but I know that they're thinking strategically about this debate, and I know President Trump understands what he needs to do, which is stay focused on the facts, stay focused on the issues, and really just let Kamala dig a grave for herself. Because when you find out what her record actually is, when you find out the things that she's said over the years, whether it's her support for an open border, her support for banning fracking, her support for any number of other policy issues that are deeply at variance with what normal Americans believe, he's going to win this debate, and I don't think it's going to be close.
The debate moderators, this is on ABC, David Muir, am I saying that right? And ABC News Live Prime anchor Lindsay Davis will moderate the debate. I admittedly don't know anything about them.
Well, the crazy thing is this is a debate being hosted by ABC. President Trump is currently suing ABC for defamation. We have a pending lawsuit against ABC and George Stephanopoulos for defaming him. Like, how is this supposed to be a fair and unbiased debate? When we talk about like media bias, I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
What's the defamation from?
This is where George Stephanopoulos repeatedly called him a rapist on the air. So we sued Stephanopoulos and ABC for defamation. That suit survived a motion to dismiss in federal court in Florida. It is currently ongoing. I haven't worked on it directly, but I'm very familiar with it. It is insane that ABC is trusted as a supposedly fair and unbiased moderator of a presidential debate when they are literally an adverse party in federal court to President Trump. It just goes to show how in the tank the media really is.
Is he going to bring that up?
I hope so. When I was on with Stephanopoulos, he cut our interview a little bit short. But if he'd kept coming at me, I was going to throw that at him. It's crazy.
Will Scharf speaking with us right now, Donald Trump attorney, former federal prosecutor here in the Eastern District of Missouri. Since this is what we're talking about with the Stephanopoulos rapist accusation or name that he continued to repeat. We've had people come on our chat and say, he's a convicted rapist, that Trump is a convicted rapist. Can you correct the record on that?
He's not a convicted rapist. First of all, he's never been criminally charged with anything even resembling that. There is this E. Jean Carroll lawsuit where a jury explicitly found him not liable. This is a civil case. A jury explicitly found him not liable for rape. They did find him liable for sexual assault. We are challenging that on appeal. I believe we will get it overturned on appeal. That entire trial was corrupted with just insane evidentiary decisions. They allowed in things that should have never seen the inside of a courtroom. We're going to ultimately prevail there, I believe. But again, this is just a leftist narrative that has no basis in the facts and no basis in the law. And it's insane how it's taken hold and how people feel entitled to just say things that aren't true.
Yeah, I find that to be repetitive. And you've even corrected the convicted felon label that has been attached to Donald Trump. I mean, it is probably the most valuable thing that the left has gotten out of all of this lawfare. It's what they sought after, and you're saying it's not even accurate.
Well, and remember where we started. They indicted him in 4 courtrooms. They were expecting that they would be able to hold him on trial, including over January 6th stuff and the documents case and all this other stuff. They thought he was going to be on trial for most of 2024, that they were going to get trial after trial after trial. And because of good lawyering and because the facts and the law are on our side, we've been able to defeat that plan. We had the one trial in New York, which, as I said before, I think we're going to get that verdict overturned on appeal. It's certainly not moving towards sentencing anytime fast. And the rest of the cases, Florida's been dismissed. D.C. is moving at a snail's pace. Georgia, where the prosecutors in more legal peril than President Trump is at this point, we're doing really well. We've chalked up some great victories for him. And we need to keep on fighting, and we need to make sure that he has the ability to carry his message to the American people because it's a winning message.
I don't think we've had you on, Will, since Jack Smith came out with the revised indictments. Can you kind of explain to us where it was and what it is now, maybe the timeline that is ahead for that one?
So July 1st, the Supreme Court came down with its presidential immunity decision, which said that many acts that were part of that D.C. indictment originally, the president has absolute immunity for. So certainly with respect to those acts, the case against President Trump couldn't proceed. Jack Smith knew that he had a real problem. So he sent one of his prosecutors in front of a D.C. grand jury. They rushed through a new superseding indictment that takes some of the more egregious stuff from their first indictment out, the stuff that the Supreme Court said that Trump had absolute immunity for. They pulled that out, and now they're attempting to bring basically the same case, just with fewer facts and even less evidence. They're still attempting to bring that in D.C. We believe that there are still large aspects of that case that are covered by the Supreme Court's immunity decision. We believe that we also have other powerful legal defenses to everything that they're alleging in that case. It's premised on a totally incorrect view of the facts, a totally unfounded view of the facts in D.C. relating to President Trump's efforts to investigate election fraud and the events of January 6th. I think we're going to win. The question is, in the meantime, how much damage, political damage, they're able to do to President Trump with these spurious allegations, which I believe was really their plan all along.
We've only got less than a minute left here. Is there any more major legal blips on the timeline between now and Election Day?
No, Jack Smith's going to file some brief in D.C. court at some point in late September, early October. Other than that, I think he's got a clear field. We got that Florida documents case dismissed. Could you have asked for a better outcome before the election than you've gotten? I think things have gone really well for us. When we first started raising issues of presidential immunity, when we first started pushing to dismiss that Florida case, all the mainstream media and legal commentariat laughed at us. And then we actually got into court in front of fair judges, and we've kept on winning.
Will Scharf, we thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. Come back soon. We love having you. And the world is getting crazier, but you bring some sanity back into it. Thanks for being with us again.
I miss you guys. Always great to be with you. Thanks a lot.
Follow him on X at Will Scharf. You'll be glad you did. Let's stick around. We'll get to our YouTube poll when we come back. Don't go away.
Learning from each other's knowledge.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right. Enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House points a finger at the former president. Lisa Brady, Fox News, reacting to a Republican-led House committee report on the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. The Biden administration is pushing back, saying President Biden had a stark choice because of an agreement made by President Trump and decided not to send an already smaller number of U.S. troops back into combat with the Taliban.
And he was able to buy additional time to prepare for that withdrawal all the way into the summer. And we as a nation are safer for it. Any and every discussion about what happened in Afghanistan has to start right there.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby also pushing back on what he calls falsehoods, including a lack of transparency. One of the report's findings is that the administration misled and in some cases lied to the American people at every stage of the withdrawal. That might be one of the issues raised during the first debate tomorrow night.
The vice president has spent the past several days in Pittsburgh preparing for the ABC presidential debate against former President Trump. But after marking the anniversary of the September 11th attacks Wednesday, the Harris campaign is making a swing state tour. Harris will be in North Carolina on Thursday and return to Pennsylvania on Friday. Her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, campaigns in Michigan and Wisconsin.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The Trump campaign has also been focusing on battleground states. New tropical storm Francine is churning through the Gulf of Mexico, heading for a possible Wednesday landfall in Louisiana.
Because of that, hurricane watches are up along with storm surge watches. Winds could approach 100 miles an hour in gust, and the surge could top out at 5 to 10 feet in some of those southern parishes. Meanwhile, inland areas look for 6 to 10 inches of rain. Flash flooding is very likely.
Fox weather meteorologist Mike Seidel in Lafayette, Louisiana. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
No complaints about our Monday afternoon weather with sunshine in control. About 83 will do it for the high. Tonight, clear skies, upper 70s as we get into the evening, 56 for the overnight low. Tuesday, sunny skies. Nice start to the morning on Tuesday, but warmer Tuesday afternoon, 88. Wednesday, still on tap to be the hottest day of the week, sunny and 92. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
I have been singing the praises of Lutheran education for a long time. I went to a Lutheran school, grade school and high school. My kids go to Lutheran schools, and I'm so grateful for this alternative to public education. My husband's a public school teacher. I support public education too, but for my kids, it's Lutheran education. And for your kids and grandkids, it's accessible as well. You've got to look into it. LisaSTL.org/Annie, LESASTL.org/Annie. Check it out on the over 37 elementary schools in the St. Louis metro area. One of the huge fundraisers that they put on, it's I think the biggest one that they put on, it's called BREW in the Lou. You can go to brewinthelou.com and learn about this amazing festival. It's an incredible time. And tomorrow at 1:40 on this show, we're going to announce the new name of the BREW in the Lou 2024 custom brew created for us by the Good News Brewing. I'm very excited about the honor to be able to do that on this show. But for the education goes, the reason why all of these fundraisers exist is to make sure that everybody has an option to access wonderful Lutheran education. All walks of life are going to these schools. They focus on great education, faith-based, family values-based, and it is within reach, but you got to check it out online. LisaSTL.org/Annie.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
12 amazing children, one special evening. The Night of Rock Stars is September 27th, giving special needs kids a celebrity treatment they'll never forget. Join us for this month's Conservatives Care. The Night of Rock Stars by visiting 971talk.com/events.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us. Gosh, it's so good to talk to Will Scharf. You said it, like, time goes by so fast. I had about 12 questions to ask, and I looked up, and we had less than a minute.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I was like, oh, man.
I know. Like, hey, can you come back for another 2 hours?
Did you hear the story this weekend about the Kentucky sniper shooter or whatever, shooting people on the highway?
Yeah.
Is it I-75 or whatever?
We are so out of control as a nation.
Yeah.
That this is something that can just happen. I mean, we've got the shooting in Georgia. There are questions about the motivations right now about this. You know, all we snap judgment is guns bad. There's no digging. There's no time spent digging into the whys of a kid who would want to do this. And then you find out that there were posts online that were, you know, talking about how he didn't like the way people were treating the transgender movement, and there's some LGBTQ connection there. And I mean, if we treated that little connection that has existed over multiple school shootings now, I mean, it's one of the most consistent connections there is. If we treated that issue the way we treat guns, there would be an outrage over how shallow and judgmental and ignorant that same parallel reaction would be towards the motivation behind the act. Because it's you can't just say, like, if he didn't have the gun, he couldn't enact the violence, because they can enact the violence. What is pushing our young people to feel as though this is a justified response to feeling an injustice or to feeling some sort of isolation? I don't think that we're ever going to be able to remove all of the bad things so that people who have bad intentions can't enact bad results.
Yeah, it's very well put. And the big question would be, what is making people lose their minds much, much more now than we used to? Because you were saying, this is just a blip on the radar. This is a big story. And we haven't even, this isn't even something that America is really talking about too much.
Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And just because you said, oh, yeah, the Kentucky thing, it made me think back. Do you remember the Kent State shootings of 1970? This was like a major event in America. And this kind of stuff happens pretty regularly now. Somebody just decides, I think I'm going to murder a whole bunch of people, and we just go, oh well, it's the guns. If we just got no, what is causing people to lose their minds now?
I think there's an easy answer for that, and it's a hopelessness. We live in St. Louis, or we work in St. Louis, but we would say, if you're somewhere else in the country, where are you from? Don't you say St. Louis?
Yeah.
And then you decide, is it worth explaining?
Once in a while. Yeah, the Illinois side, but
There's a restaurant in the Magic Kingdom. It's called Liberty Tree, and they used to say, they'd go, Wiggins. They would announce your table like, the Wigginses of Illinois. And then they'd see you. Well, I went and put our name in, and they're like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, St. Louis. But I didn't know they did that. So then they were like, the fries from Missouri. And I'm like, oh, we're not those fries. But we live in a world where we used to have kind of a, cultural Christian understanding of the order of things. And, you were either all in on the Christian thing, several people all out of the Christian thing, but a lot of people were tethered to it.
Sure.
Christmas, Easter, Christians, you were familiar with church. You're kind of making a passive decision to be less involved in church, but you still knew you still knew the message. You still knew the story. We have a hostile environment to even the consideration that there is a Christian faith that could be real, that exists, that supersedes all of this. Yes, it's more important to have an understanding of the Christian faith. If you're living in this religious world, it is more important to understand the Christian faith and the victory that does matter well over the fact that Donald Trump could lose and you still have victory. I mean, as a Christian, there is a calmness that I have knowing the fullness of what is at stake. If you take all of that out, then your everyday wins and losses, and then your, bigger wins and losses like an election or a cultural issue that is shoved in your face, especially if you're on TikTok all the time or you're watching social media videos over and over and over, and you're just getting whatever that worldview is reinforced because an algorithm has determined that you will click and watch one more video in perpetuity. So you have these worldviews enforced. If those individual wins and losses are the whole thing, I would feel pretty hopeless too.
We're also to a place now where it feels like suggesting that maybe some of society's ills could be solved by believing in a higher power. There are so many people that just cringe at that thought, which shows that maybe we are in that place where we need to talk about this more. If we're in a place where people are so hesitant to seek out what so many other people say, hey, this is a viable solution to your problems, maybe we need to talk about the solution to the problems more.
Yeah, and I think Annie's right over target with the hopelessness, and I want to add to that, I think that people have a big sense of injustice. So, I don't know about Annie. I think I was a freshman when Columbine happened. Ryan, you were in high school.
You were older than that.
Was I?
You were a junior.
Okay, I was a junior.
I think I was a senior.
Yeah.
But when it happened, it was one of those things that shook the foundations. I remember it changed.
It was like on my birthday.
Wow. I remember it changed overnight how we did high school. Like, I went to school the next day and everything was different. And those kids that did that were angry. And you don't get angry at something if you don't feel like you're just being treated unjustly. So you've got hopelessness and then this sense of injustice that's going on. And with the Christian faith, one of the things that you do have is the hope that God will carry out righteous judgment at the end of the day. They might get away with it their whole life, but at the end of the day, in the Christian faith, God's judgment's going to occur. And when you don't have that judgment going on, you start feeling like maybe I need to take these sorts of things into my hands. Yeah, this will ruin my life. Yeah, maybe it'll cost me my life, but they're not going to get away with it.
But there's no peace for me to feel like God's going to show up and judge everybody else when I know that the judgment that is going to be exacted is coming down on me exactly the same, save, Jesus is my savior to step in and offer the paid price for me. I mean, I don't really have that vengeful thought in my mind about God's judgment coming down and like righteous judgment coming down, because I would feel like I would be standing on the wrong side of the line for that one in particular. But when it comes to feeling vindication or wanting to see justice, we have a lot of people trying to right now very aggressively completely remake the game, redefine words so that victims look like perpetrators and perpetrators look like victims. And you, if you stand up and say something about that, immediately become, like, if you don't speak right on an issue, you're as bad can be. So there's pressure on people also to make sure that they are noted to be on the right side of an issue, even if they feel maybe internally, this is more complicated than the this or that it's trying to be made out to be. When all we have is emotions and vibes, this is what it boils down to. It's actually, I mean, you would like to think that the political issues that we're trying to decide right now are actually, in a way, much more boring than they're being sensationalized into being. Like, there are fixes that you could put into place that would solve some of the problems that we're dealing with right now. And it doesn't have to be super sensational. It's numbers and it's plans and it's, specific policy. If you're only ever selling emotions and you can always deliver on those emotions, you never actually have to find any solutions to anything.
Well, that's what's so tough about watching this right now, watching this happen to your country, is that we have such good foundations, but watching the house around it kind of crumble. And you go, well, at what point at what point do we realize that most of these problems are self-inflicted? As a nation anyway, a lot of the problems that we're dealing with, not all of them, but a good portion of them, are things that we've caused and that we could have prevented and that we can fix.
I don't feel like there's much opportunity right now for kids to, I'm trying to look out there in a secular only world. What are kids grabbing onto that is hopeful, that is positive? And I'm trying to put myself back into my childhood. I certainly didn't feel the pressure to try to be happy.
Yeah.
I was blessed. I guess I could say that. It's not everybody's existence. There were certainly plenty of times growing up that I was not happy, that I was frustrated, upset, or whatever, plenty of social circumstances I found myself in, which were very typical middle school kind of situation. It's not like I had this perfect childhood. But I didn't grow up worrying about these types of big things. We didn't have that. We didn't have access to the information unless you wanted to sit down and watch the nightly national news, which putting myself back into the mind of a 10-year-old little Annie, I can't think of anything more boring than sitting down and watching Channel 5 national news.
And if you weren't doing it, then nobody was doing it.
No.
But isn't that weird to
Rush
think?
Limbaugh was on in every kitchen that I was raised in.
So you were listening, but isn't it weird to think it would have been about 2010 to 12. Do you remember they started to have a lot of movies and kid-oriented shows that, and they weren't necessarily for little kids, but maybe like tweens, that were about social justice? Like Ella Enchanted. Remember that movie?
No.
These are movies that were made for younger audiences.
This is when we're adults.
We're adults,
Yeah.
But it started to shift, and you started to see them kind of inject politics. Like, you need to be aware. You need to be politically astute as a teenager and as a tween. And it never was that way until that would have been about halfway through Obama's term is when they started to see that. Yeah.
Thank God we didn't have to live with that.
Absolutely.
I feel as though there's a secular, non-secular shift taking place in politics in a positive way, where instead of trying to force religion into politics, people are pulling out of politics and going into religion, which is the cultural thing. You need to have some sort of societal understanding of what that is in order to really embrace it. And what do you know about Russell Brand?
I know he became a Christian.
But I mean, what do you know about him?
He was a legit movie star for a while.
Yeah. Married to Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I think he was abusive of Katy Perry, maybe?
That's been
Is that
the allegation.
Back and forth?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that he's actually been prosecuted for it or anything like that. I know he was very new agey, incredibly deep thinker, but yeah.
This is him on stage with Tucker Carlson, and they're having these selling out. You can go to Kansas City this Thursday, I think. I don't know if they're sold out there yet or not. But Tucker Carlson is traveling the country. He's selling out the venues that he's going to. He's got people like Russell Brand, Glenn Beck, RFK Jr. showing up to these events. And they end up sounding like this.
I'm encouraged by the joining of Trump's Republican MAGA movement by Robert Kennedy. Because I've known Bobby Kennedy for a while, not as long as you, of course, but I believe Bobby Kennedy to be a very decent and beautiful and kind man. And I also note that since he has joined the campaign, he is brought to the forefront, and I'm, of course, not claiming to be an expert in your politics, but I noted that he spoke about free speech and the integrity of that, ending war, and children's health. From which I can only conclude he must have become some sort of right-wing fascist. I think the children's health was the giveaway.
So he's got Russell Brand on stage, and he's talking about RFK Jr. coming into the fold, into the conversation. And then before it was over, Russell Brand ended up doing something that really shocked me. And I'm going to play that for you when we come back, and we'll talk more about whether or not we think that this is just one moment in time, or if this is an actual cultural shift. We'll also react to this poll here in the studio. How do you want your candidate to handle the debate tomorrow? Whether your candidate is Kamala Harris or your candidate is Donald Trump, what do you want to see from them? Chris says, I asked if you wanted them to be aggressive and in attack mode or mindful and demure, and Chris says, mindful. He needs to stand back and let Harris fail like Biden did. What do you think? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So I want to talk to you about Stewart's American Mortgage Feds Fund special that he has going on right now. You're going to want to connect with him at 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, because if you reach out to him right now and you lock in a rate with him right now, he's going to give you a rate that is lower because this goes through the end of the week. So you got to do this. You got to start the conversation with him right now. We expect the Fed to lower rates mid-September. He is getting ahead of the schedule here and getting you that lower rate locked in. And if in the middle of the month they don't end up lowering rates, you've got your rate locked in. Reach out to Stewie. Tell him you heard about the Fed Fund special on the Annie Fry Show and ask him how you can make sure that you get this rate locked in right now. He was telling me about some of the rates that he has been able to lock in even on refinances for folks who maybe bought a home in the last 18 months to 2 years, and dramatic decreases in those rates. So now is the time to reach out. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
It's not just about watching the game. It's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it. It's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket. Follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're considering new windows, there's nowhere else to go but Window World. Mark Cox here. My friends at Window World are doing something now they've never done before. That is offering up to 36 months interest-free financing for your purchase. So you get the great windows put in now, you get the energy efficiency, the great look, and then you have 36 months to pay for it. How about that? Window World has been around for a long time, and their reputation speaks speaks for itself. They are highly rated in the Better Business Bureau and all of the rating agencies. They're big supporters of our St. Louis Blues. And here's the thing. If you mention you heard this on the Mark Cox Morning Show in 97.1, you're going to be entered in a drawing for 4 Blues tickets during the upcoming season. And that's great. They're going to pick a winner every month, and good luck to you. If you need new windows, I'm telling you, Window World is the way to go. 314-993-1800. That's 993-1800 or windowworldstlouis.com.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
Great news. September is Grill Master Tony's 14th anniversary celebration month. And that's good news because through the month of September, he's giving you 14% off your entire order. Yes, this includes the entire menu, including brisket, as only Tony can prepare it and deliver it hot and ready to eat right to your doorstep. Be sure and visit him, grillmastertony.com. Type in 14 at checkout. That's grillmastertony.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. For a limited time, save $55 off a new water heater. Air Comfort Service not only installs attic insulation and HVAC systems, they also install water heaters. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we've seen. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Now, darling, whenever I'm in trouble, darling, won't you stand? I need just a little heaven here right now.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We were just discussing a little bit about the hopelessness that exists for a lot of people in culture today. And I take particular offense when people refer to this as an American hopelessness. If anything, we're like the last hope for hope. Yeah. In the United States, I mean, it is a very European mentality that is kind of swept over our country, the liberalism, the progressivism and things. Like, I don't find it to be an American tenet to be the way the far left progressive way that we are being right now. And I think that's the pull. I think that's the hope and change that we were sold. But I do also believe that, if you look at our founding as a country, our founding was very much so based on the idea of religious freedom, not an institutionalized religion, because my recollection is that where we came from had institutionalized a religion in a way to push back against the other power that existed, which was the Catholic Church that controlled basically everything else, that the king was like, how about me? I'd like to be a religion. And we were like, no. And then you have colonies that are established in the United States based pretty much on religion. If you were a Quaker, you went here. If you were Catholic, you went here. If you were Protestant, this kind here, there, and whatever. It's not right to say that the United States foundation doesn't have anything to do with religion. And it's also anti-American, in my mind, to suggest that government and religion have no place in the same conversation. Where we do need to focus on is your ability to come in and force your religion upon me. You don't get to do that here, especially from a governmental, institutionalized place. But you also do not ever get to come to me and tell me how I will do my religion. And I think that the push has been so aggressive. The idea of separation of church and state is a completely bastardized concept, the way that it is discussed in politics by people who don't really understand where that came from. One of the things, I can't remember who it was specifically. It was a pundit was on one of the news shows. I don't know if you guys remember, but was talking about how dramatically awful it was that people think that our rights come from God.
Oh, that wasn't too long ago.
It was like an MSNBC. I think it might have been during the convention.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And
yeah, I don't remember who it was either, though.
Everybody who's moderate to the right is just like side-eyeing, like.
Yeah, you go, what? What's that now?
Who's going to say? I was reading through Kamala Harris. Who's that?
It's Heidi Prisbilla.
Do we have that clip?
Yep.
Can you play it?
Yeah.
Because this was really an outrageous comment when you understand exactly the history of the founding of our country.
One thing that unites all of them, because there's many different groups orbiting Trump, but the thing that unites them as Christian nationalists, not Christians, by the way, because Christian nationalists is very different, is that they believe that our rights as Americans, as all human beings, don't come from any earthly authority. They don't come from Congress. They don't come from the Supreme Court. They come from God.
You know why? Do you know why they believe that? It's a really important distinction. First of all, it's written. That's it. That's in a founding document of this great country we live in. But also there's the great understanding that if the rights don't come from God, if they come from man, if they come from government, and the government can provide you rights, what can they also do? They can take them away. Let's dip into Kamala Harris's platforms and policies that are now on KamalaHarris.com. Vice President Harris, reading directly from her website, Vice President Harris will make affordable health care a right, not a privilege. How does she get to do that? It either is a right or it isn't a right. Kamala Harris doesn't get to make anything a right. She can acknowledge and affirm that a specific right exists. Your right to free speech, your right to bear arms, your right to not have an illegal search and seizure done on your person or your place. These are all rights that are specifically documented to understand with affirmation that we do get those rights in existence because we were created with them. Not that they are to be provided to us in an instance where they could then be taken back. But Vice President Harris, in her own words on her own website, wants to make affordable health care a right. Fundamentally, can't do it.
Not to mention that everything that they've ever done, the Democrats have done, has already created that. Like, if you want it, you can have it in the United States already. What she's saying already exists. She's not adding anything.
No, but what she's trying to do is, through poor choice of words, give the government more right to take your money to do what they want, and to fundamentally change how we exist here in this country. So, I say all this. I'm glad we played that clip because the Christian nationalism, like she says Christian nationalism, and they're like, she's, the national, where nationalists, National Socialists, we know what they turned out to be. You get that nationalism word floating out there and everybody knows what they're trying to get to and what they're trying to say. It's really bad to be a Christian nationalist, especially according to those people. But in that type of talk, in that type of communication, they've really kept Christians quiet because Christians aren't looking to go out and cause trouble, which if you read the Bible and you understand the people of the Bible, some of the biggest names in the Bible were people who caused a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. And they caused a lot of trouble in the name of their faith. And they all but like one of them, from what we understand, met a very, very tragic demise. So it's not like they did it for their own good. It was actually in the face of their own good. But we don't live in a world right now where if you choose to identify yourself as a Christian, which I do myself, Ryan, Brad, also as well. Many of you listening right now are some varying degree of Christian, some denominational. 3 of us in here, I think, are different denominations of Christian, but we all have our own faith, and it's very important and foundational to us. You don't find people who say that very much. People compliment this show regularly for being like brave and bold to talk about our Christian faith.
Oh, okay.
Do you ever get that from people?
No. I get people who talk to me directly about it, but I don't
about the show.
About the show, it may be a conversation starter, but I don't think that's not usually.
I get it a lot. People talk to me about it whenever they're talking about the show.
It's not like I'm intentionally, or that any of us are really here intentionally trying to witness through this avenue that we have, but just like people will say, I was just reading some feedback forms from AnnieFryShow.com today, and they're talking about, Ryan, you talking about your kids and me talking about my kids, and just being able to relate to when they were parenting, and they love when we talk about our kids.
Oh, good.
Our identity as parents, our identity with youth sports, our identity with, the music that you guys love, or the movies that you guys love, or Star Wars, or whatever it might be. Like, these are all facets of our lives that we talk about because we talk for 3 hours, and I'm not going to talk about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris for 3 hours every day. I can't do it. How could I have a conversation with you 15 hours a week and leave out the most important part of who I am as a person? We talk about our marriages individually. We talk about the fact that we're all married to teachers and what that looks like in the summer versus what that looks like during the school year. I mean, these are all parts of who we are and what makes us who we are. But there's a great cultural pressure to just keep quiet about it. It's just easier to keep quiet about it. You might wear a cross necklace. You might, people know that you go to church on Sundays or whatever it might be, but you just kind of keep it to yourself. Whereas if you are a Cardinals fan, you wear your Cardinals gear everywhere you go. You talk about it. If you're a Notre Dame football fan, I'm very sorry for your loss, literal loss. Do you know that they paid $1.4 million to Northern Illinois University to come beat them at Notre Dame? I digress. If, there's all these things about us that we push out there so that it's like very obvious from the jump that this is something that's important about me, but not our faith. And that is a very actively aggressive thing that the left does to keep us quiet. Because it's easier to win an argument when the other side doesn't show up to have it. But I'm starting to notice that at least politically, a lot of the big pundits that are out there that could greatly influence people on politics are actually kind of stepping out of politics and stepping into religion. And I find that to be kind of strange, but also refreshing. In that Tucker Carlson, Russell Brand debate, which we talked about, like he was a movie star. I think he was kind of a wild soul.
Oh, yeah. He was
sorts.
definitely not clean or anything in his movies.
He's sitting on a stage. Like, this is such a weird universe to be in right now, because sitting on a stage with Tucker Carlson, who got canned from Fox News for what I don't think we're 100% even certain what that caused that.
Still don't know fully.
And this.
But would you close in prayer?
Oh, yeah, all right.
He jumps out of a seat
I call
onto
on the
his
name
knees.
of the Lord Jesus Christ, our heavenly Savior. I pray in your name that the forthcoming election be an opportunity for unity for America and for Americans, for forgiveness and for grace. That the dark and demonic forces that appear to operate at the level of the state, the deep state, and the corporate and global world experience your light, Lord, that we are guided, that you guide all of our tongues and all of our words and all of our hearts, that we feel your forgiveness and that we feel your grace. Thank you, Lord, for the many gifts that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for the glory of consciousness itself in which we can experience you and live you. Thank you for the beauty of nature in which we see your wisdom and your creativity and your infinite glory. Thank you, Lord, for the many leaders, and thank you, Lord, that you were born and died that we may be forgiven and that we may have eternal life, not through merit or anything that we have individually achieved, for surely all of us are fallen, but in your holy name we are forgiven by your act of redemption, by your sacrifice. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen. I mean, amen, right? Russell Brand, Tucker Carlson on stage. That's how they close their event. This is not 2020. This is not 2016. This is not 2012. This is not 2008. This is nothing I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I don't know what to make of it. I think it's very bizarre that Russell Brand is offering up that prayer. He did not go kneel down on that stage and pray to heaven that Donald Trump wins the election. That's not what the prayer was. I mean, I understand if you listen to it, if you could kind of feel like what Russell Brand, or maybe what you attribute to the things that Russell Brand was asking for God's, great wisdom and leadership on. But that's not a prayer for Donald Trump. If Donald Trump is the result of that prayer for good or for worse, if Harris is the result of that prayer for good or for worse, this is a very interesting movement that is coming out. And I've seen it more than Tucker and Russell Brand. I've seen it in other places. I've seen other people talking about religion and faith that I don't traditionally see. And I am inclined to think it's uncomfortable for me to bring this up and play this. I'm thinking about the people in our office who, if this is, they cycle through our different stations and what might be playing out in the office and thinking, gosh, Annie's really thumping it hard today. But the only reason why I wouldn't be talking to you about it is because I would be too ashamed or too nervous about how that would make people uncomfortable to acknowledge the fact that this is an actual facet of what is going on in this 2024 election. And the only reason why I would be quiet about it is because I feel like maybe I should be quiet about it. And then I ask myself, why? And I'm like, forget that. Forget it.
The reason it's so hard to talk about these two subjects in conjunction is because, and especially on a show like this, because we talk about politics a lot. We are a conservative talk station. We're conservatives. We talk about politics a lot. Inherently, you're talking about something that is the kingdom of this earth, politics. And when you talk about Jesus, you talk about God, you're talking about something that is not of this earth. So talking about those two things in conjunction gets messy. And so you got to be careful because you're not putting them on the same level ever. You have to delineate that these two things are of vastly different importance.
And at the same time, the religious facets of this conversation, set aside Christianity for a minute, these political government conversations are very religious for a lot of people that aren't Christians. They see this as a religious endeavor. It becomes like worship. And the consequences of it going the wrong way are of biblical proportions, eternal biblical proportions for people. And I'm not talking about Christianity. So don't we have to say something?
We have to. We got to talk about it because this is ultimately where at least the three of us derive our values from. And all the things we're talking about typically move outward from those values, which is why it's important to say what you just said, which is that we understand and we mourn that there are a lot of people who their core values are based in this earth and they live and die by what happens in the power structures of this earth. And that is a very different way to approach life.
And you know what else? It is hopeless.
It is hopeless.
Yep.
It ends in hopelessness. The best of what can be the best outcome that can be from that way of thinking is very depressing. Let's take a quick break. Results to the YouTube live chat poll when we come back.
Look upon should tumble and fall. Hold of the mountain may crumble to the sea.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I won't cry. You want me to do it really fast? It's like the Micro Machines guy.
Yeah.
I can't. I got to give STS Armory their due. They're such great people. STS-armory.com. They have really awesome things in store right now, like literally in store, but also in the future for the shop. So I want you to get onto STS-armory.com to stay up to speed. My conceal and carry license is about to expire. I need to I was going to say refresh it. What do I need? Renew it. and refresh.
I'm sure it'll be refreshed after you renew it.
It'll feel totally refreshing.
Wow, what a fresh license.
I need to renew it, so I'm going to go to STS Armory, and I'm going to make sure I get that class scheduled with them so that I am still able to enjoy my conceal and carry license in the state of Illinois. There's a lot of goofy laws in Illinois. They are the law. You want to make sure that you are a law-abiding citizen, a responsible gun owner, and STS Armory can help you with all of that, the safety, the security, the accessories that you need, and the classes and the education that you need. Safety classes, ladies-only classes make you a little more comfortable to be in the room and ask the questions. It's different to carry for a female than it is for a man. These are important things to discuss, and when you go to STS Armory, they are going to acknowledge that as well. Give them a call at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS. Katie and Jesse are waiting for your phone call. You can find them online at sts-armory.com.
Plan your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck, and right now, mention my name, Mark Cox, and you'll get 48 months interest-free financing with approved credit. Just call Chesterfield Fence and Deck at 636-532-4054. Tell them you want your free estimate and free project design, because that's what they do. They're celebrating their 56th year in business, locally owned and operated for all that time, and they are professionally trained. They have a lot of pride in what they do. You're going to love visiting their showroom. If you need inspiration, go visit them in the Chesterfield Valley. The beautiful wood and vinyl fences and decking material are unbelievable. The custom sunrooms, the screen rooms, the pergolas, the patios, they can make your dream yard become a reality. Call them at 636-532-4054 or go online anytime to chesterfieldfence.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Join the movement to end breast cancer on October 19th by supporting the American Cancer Society Making Strides Against Breast Cancer St. Louis Walk. You are helping save lives through groundbreaking research discovery. You are providing patients, family, and caregivers with access to a 24/7 helpline for answers and support. When you donate to the American Cancer Society, you are providing help to those when and where it's needed most. Join the movement or donate today at makingstrideswalk.org/St. Louis Mo.
If you're looking for all the comforts of home plus some in a senior living community, check out Hampton Manor of Wentzville, just off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. They'll even treat you to lunch. Set up your appointment today and tell them Mark Cox sent you. WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today: how do you want your candidate to handle the debate tomorrow night? Aggressive and in attack mode, or mindful and demure? You only have those two options, so let us know which you think would be best for your preferred candidate. You can tell us which candidate, too, if you'd like, in the comments. 248, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Good afternoon. A Monday edition of the Mark Reardon Show is set to go here after Fox News. Plenty to discuss after the weekend. Also, Selena Zito, who will join us at 3:25. She's Pennsylvania-based. Great takes on what's happening in the presidential race. It's all coming up.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back. The YouTube live chat poll for today. How do you want your candidate to handle the debate? Do you want him to be aggressive and in attack mode or mindful and demure? Ryan, your candidate, Kamala Harris, how do you want her to do?
I would like her to be aggressive and in attack mode. Because
I'd like her to trip.
I want her yelling. I want her really unhinged. Yeah. I want to walk away thinking, man, those are going to be some good clips tomorrow.
Yeah.
My candidate, Mr. Donald J. Trump, I don't think there really is any way, because I was looking at this kind of thinking, how could he be in aggressive attack mode and this come off well? And I guess he could still be aggressive. He could still really go after her policies and things like that, and it could come off well. But I think with the setup of the debate, with the muting of the mics and things, you almost have to be mindful and demure because there's no crowd. It's just going to play better that way.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris who?
I'm not currently answering questions.
CNN tweet that?
David Marcus. I got to give him credit. He's tweeted out my son's new joke, and he wrote that. And he says, pretty good. It's his kid's joke.
That is pretty good.
Except for the fact that he does answer the first question. So anyway, what do you say? So you say mindful and demure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I initially, my thought was I wanted him to be aggressive in attack because what I wanted him to do was be aggressive in going after her policies and not letting her get away with kind of wish-washy and flip-flopping on the things. Like, you said this, what is your answer to that? Kind of almost prosecutorial, but I wasn't ever thinking aggressive in the angry yelling, anything like that. And then whenever what I had pictured in my mind, I heard Will Scharf talking about that. And it's exactly what we saw of him in the debate against Biden, where he stuck to the issues, he stuck to the policies, he didn't give any ground. He was firm in his stances, but he also didn't run roughshod over Biden, and he let Biden basically end his own presidency, his own campaign. So my vote right now is mindful and demure because that's how you guys described that.
She's going to have to fill up 2 minutes over and over and over and over again. And I did not think about that until, like you said, Will was in here and he said something to that effect. And I said, dang, that's really true because he cannot interrupt her. Mm-hmm. She will get 2 minutes, I think, at whatever question. But then if you saw too, they each get 2 minutes as a rebuttal against anything the other one said. So it's not like 60 seconds. It's another long segment there.
Do you remember the line from the last debate? I'm not sure what he said. I'm pretty sure he didn't know what he said either. And I could definitely see that line coming back in this debate if she goes on a 2 minute kind of
It'll sound worse if it goes to her, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. Everything will. If he attacks her at all, it's going to be like he's attacking a woman. And then you say, well, what is a woman? And then you just go into this ever-going loop of...
Trump should wear his hair in pigtails and say, I'm a woman.
Demure, according to dictionary.com, is reserved, modest, and shy.
Yeah.
Typically used of a woman.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Demure.
It's the way I dress, though.
Giving a modest appearance. I think that it 100% needs to be mindful and demure because everybody, I keep saying this and I will continue to say it, the thing that Donald Trump needs to beat his opponent in this election is the caricature they have made of him. And if he goes in there and continues to be the non-story at the end of the debate, he will win that debate because people already like his policies. People already remember what it was like to be existing in a Trump economy, and they know that right now this is the Harris. This is the Harris economy. This is the Harris southern border. This is the Harris foreign policy. Mm-hmm. It's not good, and people know that it's not good. So he can answer the questions. I think that the more strict he is about policy specifics to the point where it's potentially boring, the more all of the characteristics of Kamala Harris that are like nails on a chalkboard to people will very, very much so shine through. So I am too going to vote mindful and demure. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. You got just a couple minutes left to vote. I'm going to share the story here real quick with you guys. And I want to know what you think about this. What's your take on manspreading?
I'm doing it right now.
No.
But there's nobody near me, so it's fine.
Does it matter if there is?
Yes.
Okay, so here's a story. Fox News has it. This is airline passenger captures man-spreading moment in viral TikTok, sparking debate. A woman who's recently traveling on a flight said she experienced a difficult seating situation after a man invaded her legroom space. Erin, she's 21 years old, recently took an hour-and-a-half flight from Winnipeg, a city in the province of Manitoba, Canada, to Alberta to visit her family. She sat down in her assigned middle seat of the Flair Airlines flight, never heard of that. The man in the window seat spread his knees out wide, crossing into personal space and man spreading. Here is, if you're watching with us, you can see in the image that is on here that her knees are together. She's in the middle seat. His leg is all the way over in front, like across the separation of the seats in front of them. Because you have the space. You have like a channel of space. And his knee has crossed over into the full backside of the seat in front of them into her space.
It's not just taking the line.
No.
It's into her space.
It's not like kind of over
It's on
the
the
line.
other side of the line. It's almost harassment.
I want to, because he's touching her leg with his leg. I want to put out a PSA right now and say that as much as I would love to make funny jokes about this, this is so inconsiderate. This is one of the most inconsiderate things you can do on a plane.
You'd split seats up with your kids or whatever, and your wife, you were sitting with the kids and your wife was sitting in another row, and a man did that to your wife. How would you feel about that?
Oh, I'd say something for sure. She did have this experience, but I wasn't with her on the flight. It was intercontinental.
What'd she do?
8 hours where she was in the middle. The guy was sitting like that with his legs spread all the way into her area. And she had to just sit. She was like, asked him a little bit, but he didn't speak real good English. And then it was over. That was it. He wasn't going to change. She had to just sit there. It was, it makes me mad thinking about it.
She said she finally reached down to grab something and pushed his knee towards him more aggressively. She said the passenger might or might not have been sleeping, but that he was awake enough to react when she pushed his leg back. She said he, quote, moved and shifted himself to a different position. Don't you have every right? I mean, obviously to say something first.
Oh, yeah.
But then to take a next step if in this type of egregious man-spreading.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, absolutely. And the fact that I said, you didn't speak English very well, as if he didn't know. Like I had no idea what she was saying. Yeah. Move your leg.
Yeah. You just kind of push it over. Are we out now? Okay,
Yeah.
I thought we were at 57.50. The YouTube poll, Mindful and Demure, 77% over the 23% aggressive and attack mode. Tomorrow, we debate, and we are excited. You're going to want to hear it here on 97.1. Mark Reardon up next.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
The Diamond Shop online at thediamondshop.net. Go visit them right now, but go to the store in Clayton and visit them to shop their annual clearance sale. Get this, up to 70% off. You are not going to want to miss this opportunity to save. They also have 60% off all lab-grown diamond jewelry. They have 25% off all watches, even Movado watches. Go to the Diamond Shop right now and start understanding why people generationally go back again and again to shop at the Diamond Shop. I love my pieces that I have from the Diamond Shop, including some custom-made pieces that one I had, my husband had made for me, one I had made for my husband, a little tie restraint. Instead of having to do the tie tack and stick holes in his ties all the time, it was something really great that they gave. It was very affordable as well. Go say hi to Tom and Mona and Nikki and the staff at the Diamond Shop. Become a VIP online. You just go to the homepage, scroll all the way down to the bottom, fill out the form, VIP. It's all at thediamondshop.net.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, October 1st at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Thomas and Bob with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned how this coming election can affect the stock market and your retirement? Would you like to have a personalized structured income plan